Can male empowerment improve the mental health of a man? Yeah, I think so. I started this journey about over a year ago, as my intentions was to more or less determine how male empowerment can improve the mental health of a man. It was brought to my attention that many times when I started the Manhood Chronicles and the Kosher Clinician that many men were in a state of disrepair. A lot of men were frustrated because they felt that they weren't getting their needs met. And I decided to start the Manhood Chronicles and the Kosher Clinician as a way to help men overcome a lot of the issues that were impacting them in the past. And on that journey, I picked up a dear friend by the name of El Guapo from Beautiful Lies. El Guapo and I met him personally in Brazil back in May of last year. And El Guapo and I have talked about seminal topics that are important to relationships and building the community. But at the same time, El Guapo and I believes that there should be levels of accountability as relates to the women in our lives. And Beautiful Lies often talks about the cognitive distortions or the cognitive dissonance that many modern women are dealing with because many fail to do shallow work or do self-introspection that can help them get the better outcomes. And from that point, I was always a fan of mediocre tutorials and reviews. From the echelons or from the echoes and the shallows of time, many times I would look at this young man as he used clarity and precision to talk about the importance of modern relationships and why men have become saboteurs of their own ignorance because many times they don't demand anything. MTR has been a very balanced young man in his perspective as he seeks to bring credence to what's going on in dating and modern relationships. And MTR also is a very astute and a very wise young man as he is a professional with an MBA. So when you hear men like MTR, Beautiful Lies with El Guapo and myself, the Kosher Clinician, it helps men have a clearer sense of what their purpose is and how to circumnavigate through this current maze called life and many times what many calls a cesspool in America. The last one and the one that has been a very powerful ally in the improvement of masculinity and the improvement of the male psyche is my dear friend Richie Mack from ZoomtoThailand. Richie Mack has done a great job telling men about the importance of world travel. And I told you men that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and world travel is one of those elements that can help men with their mental health as it relates to empowerment. Richard Mack is an excellent content creator as he uses clarity, as he uses precision, as he uses his talents behind editing to bring a powerful picture to the psyche of many modern men and why men should travel to get the kind of women that they want if they can't find their uncovered gem here in America. Many times in these shows, many times people don't understand what men actually mean by being empowered. There's a science behind empowerment because empowerment is very euphoric and it's also important because it gives men a dopamine rush. But when men are not getting their needs met, many times they travel or go to other means to get those needs met. And many times men feel they can't find that many times in America. So Richard Mack has joined the tune to helping men get their needs met by giving them options and telling them how to explore their options outside of America. And also my dear friend Al Green. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this show as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. And the question remains in this epic show is that can male empowerment be improved and is mental health the new male empowerment? Be well.
First, you know I gotta give you a little montage about Thailand. This is ZoomtoThailand. You dig? Let go.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, fake games, staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I, my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter 지금부터 시작이야 한턱에 money cause 세계 리듬이야 한턱에 money meant the moves I've been killing it now 아직 랩이 미쳐버린 범인 아니니까 하돌아봐 한 미래로 돌아가 한 doing it cause I'm flying up 비그러 더 알아 아직까지 못하잖아 켜보지만 나의 실력이 no visa 뉴욕에서 한국까지 everybody raving visa I'm balling out cause I'm a globetrotter Yeah, 나처럼 잘 나가는 래퍼 불러 Yeah, 나 쇼미 나가다가 everybody staring I don't need to play with rookies 나의 빈줄 legend I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter Trotter 나나 계속 올라가자 I know all about it body body 소리 너무 많이 친데 빨리 들어가래 How we sound it 자리 빨리 비켜 내가 온다니까 받아하지 못한 난 실려왔다니까 너 계속 여기 맴돌아 와나 많은 두바야 I'm a globetrotter 이 신발에도 절대 멈추진 않아 You know I gotta go 내 시간 넌 잡아 집중 focus all you know is the guala Boy you slacking people talking 말만 하지 ain't no action 만만하게 보여던 사람들 다 subtracting globetrotting 시작도 안 돼서 지금부터 앞으로 You know I'm only going up yeah You could call me filthy KID 해서 I hit him IG 92 broken 9 third eye 열지 기본 I just keep on cause I'm curveball kanji I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나
Brethren, greetings. We're going to have a powerful show on today if I can get past these darn sinuses, man. These damn sinuses are killing me, man. So you guys are going to have to bear with me. I have issues with sinus and these seasonal allergies with the spring. It's causing me a lot of distress and grief. But we're going to have a good show, guys, on the day. We're going to have a good one. I put a lot of hours in this show, man. A lot of editing, man. This stuff is time-consuming. But if you like what I'm doing, share the content, guys. Share this content if you like what I'm doing. If you believe in what I'm doing as I seek to empower black men from a clinical perspective, hit Cash App $7 Smalls, and also hit the Super Chat if you feel led to do it. This show is important, men, because some of you have been conditioned not to see yourselves as important. And I did the show back on Saturday and shows in the past, and I asked the question, do black men have the right to self-determination? And the question is yes. And the show I did Saturday with my man, Dr. Thunder, talked about, am I not a man? And so many times, many men feel powerless because there are not allies that are empowering black men and all men for that matter. But the issue is, men, sometimes you can be your greatest enemy because we let our egos get in the way because we want to figure out who got the biggest the audience or who got the biggest platform. I'm bigger than you or my channel is greater than yours. And we let our egos get in the way of what could be a great movement. And it's something we all struggle with. I have to be careful that I don't struggle with it. But at the end of the day, we can't let our egos get in the way of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is for all men to feel empowered because for so long, gentlemen, there have been many that told you that you're not worthy of being empowered. You have never been in environments where you saw your fathers or your uncles or your cousin being treated like men. And when you get treated like men, brethren, you don't know how to act because for so long you have been conditioned to think you're less than. Some of you guys are walking around like wounded dogs. You don't even know what your worth is. You have been psychologically conditioned to see yourself as less. That's why you take subpar behavior. That's why you deal with subpar women. That's why when other men try to give you the tools to empowerment, you become enraged with them because you don't see yourself as better. My dear friend, the Ingram Experience talked about a concept that he created, and I parroted it, but the Ingram talked about something called relationship capitalism. Relationship capitalism is that ability for you not only to find the best relationship as it relates to romantic relationships, but it's all relationships in life, guys. It's all relationships. You should put yourself in a position if you have worked hard. This is only for the men that have worked hard. They get the best woman that you can get. Because that is the tenets of relationship capitalism. The ability to put yourself in a position that you can get the best women possible. But some of you men don't think that you deserve the best women. Hence, you continue in this negative cycle of associating or accepting all bad behavior. But I'm going to drop some fire for your mind on the day, guys, because it's time for men to be empowered. Your mind. It's time for men to be empowered. Thank you, Money Life Business. I appreciate it, brother. And guys, get the likes up. I want to get at least 50 to 100 people on the stream today because this show is going to be great for male empowerment. You know, we can't have movements until men know what their worth is. We can't continue to grow until men know what their worth is. And once you know what your worth is, then you can get the best outcomes that are associated with change. But we're going to ask ourselves the question, and there's a definition for empowerment. There is a definition for empowerment. We're going to look at that definition of what empowerment means. And guys, I need you to get the likes up and once again share this content. And thank you, Money Life Business, because this show was very time consuming. It takes a lot of hours, guys, doing these shows. You would be surprised the amount of hours it takes editing, putting together these concepts, trying to give you guys quality content, not goofy stuff, not just hopping on talking, but giving you brothers good content. So I would appreciate if you share it. And if you have not donated, donate to the channel. Now back to point. The definition of empowerment is the authority or power given to someone to do something. Individuals that are given empowerment to create their own feelings. The process of becoming stronger and more confident in controlling one's life and claiming one's right. And so, guys, that goes back to what I said earlier, or what I said throughout the week. I asked you guys, based on the rhetorical question, am I not a man? And do you have the right to self-determination? And if you are a man, if you have the right to self-determination, what are you willing to do to get the power, honor, and respect that you deserve as a man? Are you willing to continue to become a slave to your own ignorance? Are you willing to get the outcomes that God gave you? Because the Constitution said that you have the right to happiness, freedom, and liberty. But some of you guys are not happy because you're not getting the outcomes that you want in current relationships. You feel that you don't deserve a quality woman. You feel like you don't deserve a quality relationship. You feel like that you got to suffer for mediocrity because that's what you've been conditioned to do. And when you suffer for mediocrity, guys, you're not going to be your most happiest. Because as I said before earlier, the Constitution said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's all tied into empowerment. So the question remains on today, brethren, esteemed brethren, are you ready to be empowered? Are you ready to get the best outcomes that can help you get your needs met? And you're ready to get the best outcomes. Are you willing and ready to not surround yourself around people that are trying to give you less? Because I believe, brethren, that you deserve the best. These content creators, Richie Mack, is part of ZoomtoThailand. And I told you guys that world travel is one of those 7 steps that men must go through in order to become optimized. And Richie Mack has been doing a phenomenal job with giving men options as it relates to world travel, giving men options as it relates to them getting the best outcomes that they want. MTR is another good brother that's trying to give men outcomes in dating and modern relationships, as well as the Ingram experience. And also my dear friend, Beautiful Lies, because many women and some men believe the beautiful lies that they've been told as it relates to their worth and as it relates to their accomplishments. The men on one end feel like they're not worthy of quality women, many. And many of the women think that they're better than what they really are. And what it's done is caused what's called relationship imbalance. The relationship imbalance where many times many men are giving more and getting less in return. But it's time to be empowered, men, if you want to get the best outcomes for your life. It's time for you to realize what your worth is and your potential. But are you ready to get empowered? So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, guys. To the 14 that are watching, I need you guys to share this content. And I'm ready to get this stream popping. There's only 14 in the building. I know some of you guys are working. But let's get this stream up to about 50 to 100, guys, because we need to have a good conversation if we want to grow this channel and we want to see men empowered. Because, you know, men that seek and talk about male empowerment are often seen as targets. And they are seen as targets not because they're doing anything wrong. They're not being disrespectful because, you know, women have female empowerment all the time. But there's a fringe lunatic that has more or less conditioned you to think you don't deserve anything. You should supposed to accept mediocrity. You don't supposed to expect anything. You're supposed to take whatever is given to you in a relationship and be happy because that's what you've been conditioned to. And then you got hyena simps that tell you, you know, love the community and just accept anything. And I'm telling you, you don't have to accept anything. You have the right to live your life on your own terms. So, are you ready to be empowered? If you're ready to be empowered, I need you to hit 1. If you're ready to be empowered. And if you are ready to be empowered, gentlemen, what's stopping you for getting the right things that you need to be the better version of yourself? So I'm going to hold tight. Hold tight, guys. So the question remains, are you ready to be empowered? And is male empowerment the new mental health? Is male empowerment the new mental health? Many times guys advocating for men in these spaces, sadly many times black men, sometimes some of the brothers feel like they don't get the support that they need. They don't feel like they get the proper support many times. And you guys have been doing pretty good for the most part. But many times in black male spaces, when black men begin to advocate, many feel it's a market that's undervalued, and many feel that it's it's not given the level of ratings that it deserves. And because of that, if men are not careful, it can cause them to feel like, why am I putting in all this work if people are not supporting male empowerment? So, I want to see you men win. I want to see you men win. I want to see you get the best outcomes that are viable for being happy and successful. But you can't get there until you begin to love yourself. Guys, share the content. We're going to get it cracking. But in the meantime, shout out to my man Roshak, a.k.a. Casual Observer, for that $2 super stick. He said super chat, like, share, and engage. Black men are worthy. Yes, sir, they are worthy. All men are worthy. Because just like they can have female empowerment, we can have male empowerment. We can surround ourselves around hardworking white-collar and blue-collar men that are striving and trying. We're not talking about male predators. We're not talking about dusty men. We're not talking about men that seek to hurt innocent women and children. We're not talking about those types. But we're all talking about men that are cerebral, men that love themselves, men that have a sense of purpose, and they're willing to get the best women in their lives to get the outcomes that they want. That's what we're talking about. So we're going to have a powerful discussion on today, guys. The stream is going a little slow, but I need you guys to share the content. And hopefully the people will start pouring in at some point. But in the meantime, we must go forward. But the question remains is, are modern men really empowered? Do you feel like, guys, you are empowered? Do you feel like you live in a world where they seek to empower you from a masculine perspective? Or do you feel like you live in a world where you don't get any respect, you don't get any honor, you don't get any credence, you don't get any semblance of respect, and you're constantly chasing your tail like a dog? The question remains, are modern men really empowered? When is the last time you've seen the media seek to empower all men? Give me a time in these last 20 to 30 years where you see society actually celebrating and honoring men. Mother's Day is about to come up at some point, and soon it will be Father's Day. And there are some in our community that will seek to take that little amount of honor and grant it unto themselves based on some of the bad choices that they've made in dating and relationships. So the question remains is that, are modern men empowered? If you believe that modern men are empowered, I need you to hit 1. If you feel like they're not empowered, I need you to hit 2. And we're going to talk about solutions at some point. But I will question it and say that modern men are not empowered because the laws currently don't benefit modern men. The laws don't currently benefit modern men. The laws don't seek to empower modern men. The laws don't seek to give modern men a level of peace and clarity and give them a level of introspection where they can feel good about themselves. So I would say succinctly that many times and many modern men are not empowered. They are not empowered because they're not getting the outcomes that they need to become the better versions of themselves. So many men are broken. So many men are looking for solutions. So many men have been conditioned to see themselves as less. Some of you guys are still dealing with schema afflictions from when you were in high school. And many of you don't see what your inherent worth is because, the world has told you you're not worthy. But this show is going to talk about some of the tenets of male empowerment because many feel there's no evidence for male empowerment. So we're going to explore some of the concepts from Dr. Helen Smith. And Dr. Helen Smith wrote a book called Men on Strike. And Dr. Helen Smith is saying that many men are checking out because there's no benefit for them in marriage and relationships. And I'm going to say I am for marriage if a man can find the right woman. I am for community if it means we have to revamp it. But I'm not for men selling for mediocrity. I don't believe you should settle for mediocrity. I don't believe the women should settle for mediocrity. But because this channel is about male empowerment, my focus is on men. You should never settle for mediocrity, gents. You should get the best bang for your buck. You shouldn't feel forced that you have to deal with chicks or deal with outcomes that are not beneficial to you as a man. Therefore, I believe young men and older men and middle-aged men that you should get the best. And if you can't get the best, then you should continue to work until you get the best. But it first starts with building yourself as a man. But Dr. Helen Smith wrote a book called Men on Strike. And her book resonates because it's a reason why men are on strike. And men are on strike many times because they don't feel empowered and they don't feel respected. So we're going to listen to what Dr. Helen Smith said. We're going to critique her video for a few minutes until the crew comes in. And we're going to have a good show today, guys. Hold tight. Let me share this stream real quick. And we're going to talk about it. Why are so many men on strike? Why are so many men frustrated? why are so many men selling for mediocrity? And it could be argued that there are many reasons why so many are suffering or selling for mediocrity. But this is not a black man issue. This is a Western issue. And this is a white woman talking about why so many men are on strike. So we're going to look at Dr. Helen Smith, and then we're going to get into the core of this conversation about male empowerment, because I believe, guys, that male empowerment is the new mental health. Dr. William Glasser talked about it many times, and I always cite Dr. William Glasser because Dr. Glasser said that choice theory is part of reality therapy. What is your reality? What choices have you made that's stopping you from getting the best reality that you can get? And so we're going to hit on this link, and we're going to talk about it.
Helen Smith with me now, the author of Men on Strike, joining me now in the studio. Helen, what do you mean when you say men are on strike? How?
Men are on strike in terms of like marriage, fatherhood, and even the American dream, in the sense that they're not even going to college as often because there are so many reasons. It's just become a very bad deal for men today, and people don't realize it. People think men are immature. Like there's all kinds of books written by Hannah Rawson, like The End of Man, and all kinds of things about the decline of men and manning up or whatever. But I think the real thing is that men feel that right now it's just a very poor deal in terms of legal issues. Men don't get kids as often. They're only about 10% of the time do they get child custody. They're the ones paying alimony.
And see, guys, Dr. Helen Smith is a author and a psychologist. I'm a licensed clinical therapist. Many therapists are not touching these issues because it's not PC. They're not talking about male empowerment and male rights and men getting the best outcomes. I'm not saying it. This woman is saying it. So maybe you'll take it from her because she's a white woman. But, you know, Ray Charles conceded that in these current times that it's hard finding quality traditional women. Most of you men that are listening want traditional women. You want traditional women. So if you can't find traditional women, what are you to do? See, many people think I'm against marriage. I'm not against marriage. I believe in it. But I believe the men should get the best bang for their buck, as the Ingram experience calls relationship capitalism. But many feel that there's relationship inflation, where subpar women with subpar behavior want the best men. And I'm saying that that's not healthy for a man from a clinical perspective, because he's deferring power instead of demanding power. So I want to see men get the best outcomes, but there are not enough advocates for men. A lot of the women that say they want to get married and believe in the community, you guys are not advocating for men. You're not marching on Capitol Hill. You're not saying let's change these draconian laws that are impacting men from a mental perspective. So how can you expect him to protect you if you're not trying to protect him and his ego? And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Now I need you guys to share this content. If you're not donated, donate to this show, guys. I put a lot of time in these shows. I put a lot of time and attention into these shows to make sure you guys get the best outcomes, because I want to see you guys win. I want to see you brethren win. And I want to see you good women win as well. The good women that are willing to work with good men, the good women that are willing to correct other women's behaviors, the good women that are willing to not be indoctrinated by these liberal policies and this cultural Marxism. I want to see you guys win, but you can't win, guys, until you band together and start damn demanding better. You're not going to win until you deal with that schema and those negative cognitive distortions that are impacting you in a negative way. Some of you don't even know that you got cognitive distortions because you're so used to being less than. Keep listening.
I just did a radio show, and the guys were talking about how they literally were pushed out of the room when their baby was born and a mother was asked questions about, is your husband an abuser and that type of thing. And it's just appalling what men go through. I mean, I used to consider myself a feminist, but I thought feminism meant equality between the sexes. But now it seems to me special privileges for women. 20 years ago when I started my private practice, I had a man in a wheelchair who was being beaten by his wife, and there was no help available for him. And it really got me thinking about, what do men do in that situation? And just the men on my blog and the readers from all over the country just prompted me and helping me to understand what men are going through in this country. And the last thing I want to say.
But gentlemen, they want you to accept subpar behavior. They want you to accept subpar women. They want you to deal with, women that think they're better than you. Women that have had a lot of fun. Women that got multiple kids by multiple men. Women that have not been conditioned or have been conditioned to see male power and male authority. That's why I said once again, I'm an advocate for community building. But what I'm saying is that there are too many barriers in place, and I'm not against trying, But a lot of men have checked out. They're saying, I'm not going to waste and invest my time on fallow ground because the ground is barren. The ground is not conducive to fertile seed. Is there a remnant of men and women that can come together and form a more perfect union? Yes, I think so. But overall, many of these young women have been indoctrinated as well as a lot of these men. I was listening to Uncle Stu yesterday on Luke Hayes' show for a few minutes, and she talked about the cultural Marxism that hit Venezuela, and it's coming here to America, actually already here, because it's by design to cripple this country and also to emasculate you men. And that's why I need you guys to support movements like what I'm doing, because I'm a licensed professional. I'm not fake. If anybody want to see my credentials, you can see it. I'm not fake like some of these cats in YouTube. They say they graduated or got accomplishments and they haven't. You know, they're just avatars behind the screen. I'm real. I have several degrees. I went to one of the best schools in the country. But I do this because I want to see you win. I started this journey back in 2008. And I've been fighting and advocating for men, even though many times I've taken hits. I've been fighting and advocating for men since 2008, 2009. And it doesn't mean that I don't that I have any level of distress or disdain for our women. It just means I want to see men win. And you know something, guys, anytime men start to love themselves and start saying, I want the best, it's always turned to hate. You know, you'll have some of these ladies to come in these spaces and say, you know, black women are being murdered, and they'll talk about silly stuff that don't have nothing to do with the topic. And once again, guys, I want to see you guys win. I get so happy and excited when I hear men call me and talk to me in private when I'm doing consultations, and they tell me, they say, you know what, thank you for everything you're doing. That gives me the power, guys, and encouragement to push forward. But I need you guys to support this platform. I need you guys to support it by sharing it. I need you guys to support it by giving monetary contributions, because I literally took about 6 hours. I didn't go to bed until about 2 o'clock last night getting this show ready for you guys. So I'm not begging for money, but I am begging for your support. And the support means you sharing the content. Share the content. Sometimes sharing the content and getting to the right people is better than the money. So once again, guys, thank you for everything you do. I really appreciate it. So we're going to keep listening. Why men are boycotting marriage. This is Dr. Helen Smith.
Is men are not allowed to speak up. So I'm here as their sort of advocate, because if men speak up, they're called whiners, they're called, wimps, man up, and they're not allowed to talk. I talk to men across the United States on my blog. I run a men's rights blog, and I've worked with men for over 20 years in my private practice. And what I found is that men say that it's the legal ramifications. They don't have any legal rights in marriage anymore. There's something called coverture, and what it is used to men held all the cards in marriage, and they held the legal rights. Now women do. And if you look at it, men, when they get divorced, they only get custody of children 10% of the time.
Even if the woman's cheating?
If the woman's cheating, and if that's not your child, most states say you still have to pay. You find out.
Did you guys hear that? Even if she's cheating, guys, they say you still have to pay. That's why Mr. Palmer said change the law of your mind. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer said that you got to change the law of your mind. And that's a very powerful term that he created. It's a very powerful term, because you do have to change the law of your mind. If you don't, you're going to have a schema affliction. But I want 2 or 3 guys to tell me in the chat, why is empowerment so vital now? Somebody tell me why empowerment is so vital now as I read through the comments. Well, why is empowerment so vital now as we continue to explore the tenets of male empowerment?
Out 3 years later, your 3-year-old isn't yours, you still have to pay in most states. Jim McNamara is a professor, and he found that 69% of the time men are portrayed in the media in a negative light as buffoons, pedophiles, perverts. And what messages is sending to people across the United States? I mean, to men.
All right, so you give some tips about what men can do to fight back. For example, stop letting women control the dialogue.
That's the most important. Yes. Well, women now, in fact, here I am a woman, at least you're a man, and 2 women are talking about it, but women control the dialogue. Most of the articles and things about gender are written by women, or they're written by men who have a feminist bent. Men need to stand up and say, you know what? I'm going to write about it. I'm going to talk about it, and quit being quiet. Then look at things in terms of cost analysis. And the
shout out to my man, Alton Prayer. Thank you, Alton. I really appreciate it, brother. I really appreciate that.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
And I'm going to read your comment in a minute. Thank you, Alton.
Right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Alton Prayer said that, hey, Coach, just a little something for the collection plate. You are making a difference more than you know, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. No doubt, man. And I appreciate that because I want to see you guys win. I want you guys to get the best outcomes that you can get. I want you to get the best women you can get. I want to see you guys go to the grave with a smile on your face. I want you brothers to come home feeling rejuvenated and empowered. But we can't do it, brothers, until we stick together. We can't let our egos get in the way of powerful movements because there are going to be some that will try to usurp anytime men come together. I believe that when men come together, they get the best outcomes that they need. I believe when men are mature and they can deal with their own insecurities, then we can help these movements grow. Sam C said that we need empowerment to reign ourselves and families. I agree, Sam. Top Gun said that a fully focused black man is viewed as a threat. You are 100% correct, brother. That is so true. LCN said we're living in a time when masculinity is devalued. Yes, LCN, it is devalued. And it's time for men to rise up and achieve and build foundations for ourselves so the next generation of men can keep that mantle going. And building means building with black women that are traditional. If you can find them in America, then find your wife here in America if she's ready to support you. But if you can't find her here and they're hard to find, I believe that you should focus on yourself and travel abroad and find you a black bride that can help you build your empire if you feel that's necessary. My point is this: you should do what's best for you, not what's best for what people tell you should do, not what's best for what some call the community. You should do what's best for you because the community guys voted for policies, guys, back in 2020 where there was a segment of black men that said don't do it, but they didn't vote for no damn black men and black family and black communities. They voted for themselves. They voted for people that had a history of enslaving black men. They voted for people, guys, that had a history of not creating policies that benefited black men. They didn't vote for policy. They voted for themselves. And this stupid argument about one being a racist, the next being a racist is irrelevant. They both have had racist tendencies. I would say the one that looked like Beavis had a worse racial history when it comes down to male destruction. But they didn't vote for male. They voted for themselves. And I'm telling you men to start voting for yourself. Start setting standards for yourself so you can get the best outcomes that you want because you have worth and you have value as men. And I'm going to do everything in my power to empower brothers to the point I'm going to start my own practice at some point. I'm going to start working for myself because I need to be empowered. I got too much to offer and too many gems to give to be working for the money that I'm working for. So I'm going to start my own practice at some point, and I'm going to start working for myself. Rorschach said that black men have been gaslit into believing that black male empowerment is inherently evil. Yes, sir, you're right, Rorschach. You can analyze the topic through both a feminist and racial lens. Black male empowerment threatens it all. Yes, it threatens the power base. Dr. T.S. Johnson called it the ConcuServe. I call it the commodity of subjugation. We're just tools to be subjugated by many. And when I tell some of these women to advocate for men and to advocate for laws, they're not going to do it because it doesn't benefit them. They just want free servitude without investing in your best interest. And I'm saying you'll be a damn fool to deal with any woman that's not going to work for you to help you have a better life. If she's not willing to work for you, just erase her off your checklist. Because many don't want to work. They just want damn taxation without representation. And they don't want to give you what you need as a man. Tim Howell said that's why it's foolish for men to get married in today's world. I agree. I've been married for 26 years. I have a black wife, not that it matters. But if I was a single man again, I would be remiss to say that most don't qualify to be my wife. I have very high standards. And any woman's going to be on my platform or on my team, she's going to follow my leadership. And I'm going to take care of her and love her as long as she's following my leadership. But you know what it is, guys? Many have not seen true masculinity. Many of them don't know what it looks like to see true masculinity. And when they see it, they call it toxic because they've never seen it. Damn near 75 to 80% of our children are born in single-parent homes by a small pool of men, in my opinion. So when a true man comes in trying to establish order and balance, it's seen as toxic because they've never seen it. They don't even see it in the schools, guys. I taught school. So how can you totally de-evolve and build a more strong union when many of our kids are dysfunctional? Many of them need to be reprogrammed. Many of them need to be or get into therapy because they don't know how broken they are. And I see it all the time in practice. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing with you guys. Because I don't want to see another black man broken in this country, or any man, white or black. LCN said, a black man's fully disciplined and focused is a threat and a god amongst men. They don't want that. I totally agree, brother. Amari speaks to man up, fellas. This ain't no game no more. Kill an ant with a sledgehammer, no doubt. Thank you, brother. Alton Pryor said, just a little something extra cause I really like your content. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That means the world to me. When you guys support the content.
That's a bet,
when
right?
you guys
That's a
donate,
deal, right?
it means the world, because many times, guys, when I do these kind of shows, it's an uphill battle. Many get mad. I don't know why. When I talk about male empowerment, they get mad. But I know why they get mad. Because they want you to be a slave to their own selfish needs. And that's not healthy for you. I don't want to see men suffering in silence and feeling like they don't have any worth or power. I don't want to see that. And that's why I need you guys to share this content. Tim Howell said, don't get married, especially in the Western world, gentlemen. I agree. Don't get married in the West. And if you get your wife a foreign wife, you got to be very careful bringing her back here. She can be okay if she's a wise, godly woman, and she's probably second or first world. But when you start getting into, different worlds, then it can be very dangerous. But we're going to have a good show. You guys are coming in, man. I appreciate it, man. You guys are doing a hell of a job. The world don't mind the thug because he's a puppet for white supremacy. But the disciplined, focused, ambitious, God-fearing black Israelite man is a threat, a God walking on the earth. I feel you, brother. And shout out once again to Mr. Palmer. I'm going to do a show with Mr. Palmer at some point. We're going to have a powerful show. I'm going to bring Mr. Palmer on, so guys get ready. I'm going to talk with that brother. Rochelle said, black men in this space want to use the environment to build families and flourish communities, but black men are pro-man, woman, and children, not pro-black man. To suggest otherwise is a lie. I hear you, brother. And Top Gun said, facts, my elementary teacher was, I feel you, brother. Shout out to RCC7 from Detroit. He said, $20 super below what you're doing, man. I love your focus. I appreciate it, man. It's a lot of work.
Right? That's a deal, right?
It is a lot of work doing these shows, brother.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
And we're going to have a good show. Keep listening.
Penalties for marriage are so high and the rewards now are so low. First of all, there's legal costs of marriage. There are so many men now who are just saying, you know what, it's just not worth it to me. I'm going to be stuck paying the alimony. I'm going to be stuck paying for child support. And it's not just legal reasons. It's also psychological ones where men feel that basically they don't really have rights in marriage. Women hold all the cards now in reproduction and all kinds of things, and men don't.
Well, that's all true. I mean, I agree with that completely. But it still doesn't absolve men of the responsibility to stop complaining about how the cards are against them and man up and become men, because you don't become a man until you assume responsibility.
What man would take such a raw deal? I don't consider that.
See, guys, you heard this simp in the middle, he sounds like a fool. How can you man up with laws that are against you? Unless you come together and get lobbyists. Yeah, sure, we can get lobbyists and we can band our money together and work together as teams, but black people are not monolithic. Most men are not monolithic. And anytime black men and all men begin to come together, you're going to always find this simp in the middle trying to tell men to just man up. It's always when it comes down to things pertaining to men just to man up. So, run away from guys like him because it's obvious he's not making any sense. We should man up when there's a gender war or there are gynocrats that are designed to stop you from getting the power that you need. I believe that men and women should be happy. Men and women both should be happy in relationships. The man should be getting his needs met, and the woman should be getting her needs met. But many times, many say they're not getting their needs met, and they're dealing with women that have very large egos that don't believe in sacrificing and serving their men. Even the women that seek to talk about male empowerment and male service, they're called mammies, and they're called pygmies. Good black women and good white women that say, let's start serving and celebrating our men, they're either black pygmies and mammies, and they say it's black male worship, a.k.a. time to TKO.
Man.
Well, it's not a raw deal. You derive deep satisfaction as a man by taking responsibility for other people. That's the only place you get deep satisfaction.
So men are supposed to take a really bad deal and sign their rights away, and you call that a good deal. Look, you would understand economic rewards. You did well. That's good, and maybe you have a really good wife, but a lot of men don't feel that way.
But Doctor, here's where I get confused. And forgive me, I just went to a wedding last night, so I'm feeling all loved up.
Euphoric.
Very, very, because it was beautiful. And any time that you do see a wedding, that the hope is renewed, and it does remind you of what's great about marriage. And so you act as though marriage is such a raw deal for men, but you do get companionship, and you get love, and you get a family, and I see men enjoying all of that and embracing all of that.
That's a different topic. Those are also things that you can get with a relationship. We're talking about the legal aspect of marriage. I'm talking about the political and the legal realm.
And see, guys, once again, the love currents for a woman is this fickle notion called love, that nebulous concept called love. She said you can get love, but how many say I don't love you anymore? How many say that I'm no longer in love? How many say I'm ready to end this relationship? Many say that. You should never marry a woman solely for love only. Love should come at some point in the relationship. You should marry a woman based on principle and pragmatism. And then love will come on the back end, because if she can love you based on mission, then she's willing to stay in that relationship. If she loves you based on feelings, when she does not love you anymore, and many times it's going to happen because 70 to 90% of divorces are initiated by women, then she's ready to divorce you. You would be a fool to get married based on feelings in a world where being married can cause mental health distress and many times suicide for a man. So never get married based on no feeling called love. That's the dumbest thing you could do. I'm not saying you shouldn't love your woman, but that shouldn't be your primary objective. Your primary objective should be pragmatism and how willingness to come into the relationship ready to serve your mission as a man, as being the man that God created on earth to serve him. If she's not ready to serve or willing to serve your mission, she's not worthy to be your wife. Women from other cultures know that. Don't get with modern women that want you to serve them. You got chicks now that have had a lot of fun. They said that if you don't make $60,000, you don't qualify. But then when men start saying, well, you got kids by multiple men, you've been ran through, then it's a problem. So I tell men to live your life on your own damn terms. Don't let these women tell you what you can't have. Get with good sisters that are honorable and respectable, sisters that honor and respect you as a man, sisters that are willing to get on your program to help you build your program. Because if you do things based on love alone, it does not benefit you. I want you to be empowered, gents.
Implications of marriage, where men aren't getting such a good deal there. And there are thousands of men across the country that I've spoken to and that will tell you differently. And the statistics are bearing that out. A lot of men, you think men need to man up, but to man up, you have to be getting something out of that relationship. What you're saying is that men are getting something just by having a woman. They're just so lucky.
Here's the thing. They're allowed, the one thing I agree with you on is men are getting away with having children without marrying the woman.
They're not getting away with it. What's happening is a lot of women, number one, don't want them. The lower level women, what's happening is 40% of the women who are breadwinners, a lot of those lower level women are making $17,000 to $23,000. Those women use the government to pay for themselves. They don't want a man. So rather than some men are just opting.
Why hasn't a man written this book? Why hasn't a man written this book?
Because men can't speak up. I'm here to speak up because people will actually listen to a woman. It's really unfortunate. I want the next man, and I'm hoping by...
You heard what Dr. Helen Smith said. Dr. Helen Smith said that men can't speak up. And so basically, guys, y'all are slaves, and you're not only slaves in your mind, but you're in slaves in a world where men can't say nothing. You guys are supposed to be quiet and just take abuse. But folks get mad at me when I speak out. I lose subs for speaking out. That's why I need you guys to share this content, because I need kosher people on my team. Not fickle folks with fickle feelings, or people that have ulterior damn motives. I need strong black men and strong sisters that's going to be part of this team. Women that believe in equality and respect for men. And women that understand that they want the love from a man, she got to be willing to give him something in return. She got to be willing to protect him. But you hear what Dr. Helen Smith said. A white woman said that men can't speak out. And it's true. Anytime men begin to speak out, they either push back into silence, they're pushed back into shame. They say, oh, your mama's black, and all kinds of goofy stuff, because they don't want you guys to be empowered. They don't want you to get your damn needs met. You're supposed to accept anything. And, if you don't accept it, then you're not doing it for the team. And that's manipulation, and that's not healthy for your mental development and your mental wellness. But when our women talk about woman empowerment, it doesn't bother me. I don't mind women being empowered as long as it's going to benefit black men, black women in the community if she wants to get married. If she don't want to get married, then fine. Enjoy your single life, have fun. I'm not against you being a single woman, have fun. If you feel like black men here are dusty, like so many call y'all guys dusty, rapists, grape. They call you guys all kinds of negative terms. you know, go divest and deal with other men from other countries. It doesn't bother me. You do what's best for you. That's why I tell these men to do what's best for them. But anytime I start talking about male empowerment, then all of a sudden it's a problem. And it's really a shame, guys, because it's cultural Marxism when you can't live your life on your own terms. It's really a shame.
But this book, that next man is out
So
there.
What's frustrating? I want to say something as a man, because this always has frustrated me when I see commercials when men sort of speak, they're acting like men, right? And all these commercials are out there where the man's like the lazy guy on the couch.
He's a tool.
But look what the culture is doing to the men. Culture is telling men, you are no good. You are no good in marriage. You are no good. Even you all are here saying man up to men, and that's a really negative message to be sending to men.
But what do you think the solution is?
The solution is for us to have fair laws and things for men, and to also, these commercials, we need to look at the culture and say, you know what, quit treating men like trash. Seriously, we treat men very poorly in this society.
That's fascinating to me because as we've just gone through, all of the forces at work here to find that wages for men are actually less today. The median wage for men is less today than in 1968.
Exactly.
The implications of that are extraordinary. They can't support a family on that median.
That's one of the reasons they can't support families. So lower income women don't want men as often, and lower income men are getting married less and less at all ages. And part of it is not just that they're going on strike, but the women a lot of times don't want lower level men. The other thing is women are becoming so highly educated now that they want higher level men, and the men don't want to go to college anymore.
And also, guys, the cost of inflation has caused marriages not to work. Gas now is damn near close to $5 a gallon in many cities. In some cities, it's $7 a gallon. All because of bad policies that many of them voted for, because they didn't vote for the black family, the black man, or the black community. They voted for themselves. Many of them, not all. Shout out to the good sisters that were cerebral, the good women that saw what was best for the black community. But now all of a sudden, because the world is in a state of disrepair, you're supposed to give your indentured servitude for women that didn't vote for you or your interests, that voted for themselves. And it doesn't work that way. That's bad behavior modification. In behavior modification, both parties must benefit. If you're constantly giving your best to women that have not earned it, it's positive reinforcement for them and it's negative for you. That's not psychologically healthy for you men. So I believe that men should get fair exchange. And thank God for my wife. We've been married for 26 years. But what I'm seeing with some of these guys now, what they got to deal with, my heart goes out to them because there's no way in hell I would deal with some of these chicks in these modern times. They don't qualify, in my mind, to be a woman of valor or a woman of character. They don't meet my standards as a man. I have very high standards, and you got to be on my team. You got to be correct. I'm just not going to take anything because I work very hard to get to where I'm at. And so you're not going to come into my life and take what I work my ass off for. That ain't going to happen. Not on my team. It's not going to happen. Keep listening, guys.
Because colleges have become so feminized in some sense that a lot of men don't. It starts early in the earlier grades.
What do you mean feminized? I think that resonates, but what do you mean?
I mean that everything has become about what girls need, what women need. It's not about what boys need. A lot of times boys are into mastery. They're into skill, competition, and our schools are so filled now with people who only look at sitting still, reading books that are basically for girls. And a lot of boys are interested in other things. They don't want to just sit still, and they want to learn in a different type of way, and the schools don't allow that. We have boys in this country who can't read.
And that is so true. I taught school, guys. I was a special education teacher. I knew back in 2009 that I had to advocate for boys, especially black boys. But there's been a war on black boys, brown boys, and also white boys. Boys are not allowed to be boys anymore. If boys do boy stuff, then their development is arrested and they're being called on as being bad because they're not cooperative. Men can't even be men anymore. Men cannot be objective. Men can't even be them damn selves because anytime we be heteronormative men to speak firm and speak fair and speak damn truth to power, it's seen as toxic. So you got a bunch of neutered males here in America. That's why when men travel abroad, they say they feel like men. They feel like men because they are allowed to be men. They are allowed to damn speak up. They are allowed to say, am I not a man? And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. It is not mentally healthy for men not to have the ability to be men. They're like damn lions in a cage, walking around in a cage. Defeated, broken, not knowing what their power is because they have been conditioned not to see themselves as demanding or more or less worthy of damn anything. They're supposed to take mediocrity. And now, guys, because the economy has changed, many jobs have been transferred overseas through the NAFTA agreement with the Clinton administration. A lot of men are saying, these chicks, mock me for making $42,000 to $50,000 a year, which is not really a bad salary in some parts of the country. So it's never enough. But the women that are looking their damn nose down on you are subpar women. They're not virtuous women. They're not wife ready. And many of them had a lot of fun. So what are you getting in return, man? But some of you guys, your self-esteem is so damn low, you just take anything. You just walk around and say, well, just keep damn low on the standards. Just take anything. Take anything. But then when you decide to exercise your power as a man and say, I'm going to get best, then all of a sudden you got these simps trying to shame you back into compliance. I wish a hell a simp would try to shame me. They can get this work. No man can damn shame me. I don't give a damn who it is. I'm a man first. I wish somebody would come my damn way trying to shame me into some damn submission. You'll see a side of me you've never seen before. And like I said before, I'm a man before I'm a therapist. And I'm a damn good therapist, but I'm a man first. And I'm so passionate because I'm sick of this tired talking point. I believe in equity and justice for all. I believe that good women should get with good men. But I don't believe these dusty women deserve hard-working quality men. Blue-collar men make the damn world go round. If it weren't for good blue-collar men, the plumbers, the truck drivers, the electricians, we wouldn't even have a damn world. But they look their nose down on those men. And many times those men make more money than them. But when that man that got that blue-collar job making $70,000 to $100,000 a year said, you know what? I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to be a hard-working man. And I'm going to get me a woman from a country that honors and respects me. Because men in other countries don't make nowhere near as much men as some of the brothers here in America get, but they still get a feminine, traditional woman. They still get a feminine, guys, traditional woman. But you got to get damn subpar behavior. But when I say about empowerment, then, trying to empower men to get the best outcomes that they want, when the Ingram experience talk about relationship capitalism, when MTR talks about, understanding women of the West, when Richie ZoomtoThailand said travel abroad, then all of a sudden it's a problem. And you got folks trying to, get in their feelings, unsubscribing. But they won't advocate for the women that have better behaviors. And the ones that do advocate, the good sisters, shout out to them once again, the good women that are advocating. They're shamed back into damn salaries and called mammies and pickers. Even this woman, Dr. Helen Smith, had been under a lot of scrutiny. Not because what she's saying is wrong, but like the gospel say in the last days, they won't love the truth. And folks don't want the truth anymore, so keep listening.
And nobody does anything about that. We also have so many female teachers. There are only 16% of teachers now are men in the elementary schools.
Is that right?
Yes. And those female teachers, according to the London School of Economics, did a study, and they found that female teachers as a whole give lower marks to boys.
Well, those son of a guns.
Yes.
Well, I don't know, son of a guns. The reality is right now society is becoming such a constrained place. The political correctness, hidebound orthodoxies. Women are doing well, but not as well as it might be inferred. Right. For example, the Pew Research study just recently showing that women amount to 40% of the breadwinners. But when you look at those numbers, 63% of those women are on average earning $23,000 a year. Right. They are effectively dependent on the state. They are not breadwinners. It's the wrong term. They're not winning. And there's not much bread there.
But what's happening is they don't need men anymore. You see, the state have become their husband. The state is now the husband.
That's a great way to put it.
That's exactly what it is. Husbands are now expendable.
And the state isn't. It's a level of dependency that is going to alter the way we live.
And first of all, there's lots of these laws or rules in colleges. That colleges they say that if a man is found, it used to be a 90 to 100%, you had to find a man guilty of a sexual assault. And now on the college campuses that take federal funds, there was an Obama letter that in 2011 went out and it said, okay, any man that's found guilty of a sexual harassment or sexual abuse or a sexual assault, all we have to have is 50% in a feather. In other words, there's these campus administrators. They have what's called a campus tribunal, and they control young men's sexuality by saying, okay, we don't really need a large amount of evidence. All we need is we think you did it.
Right. Now, look at this, guys. That goes back to what one of the brothers was talking about yesterday. He went through the same thing. False allegations. I've been through false allegations as a professional man. Not sexually, per se, but just false allegations in general. hearsay damn evidence. No evidence, just her word. Because many times some of these bitter women, they got psychological issues. If they don't like you because you're a masculine man or they see you giving other women attention, they'll attack you. They'll lie and say, he said something. But you say, well, who said it? Well, we can't tell you who said it. But let that be you go and say she said something inappropriate. Many times she's not going to lose her damn job. But you're supposed to be quiet and just drag your damn knuckles. But you got these goofballs trying to tell you that when you want to explore your options and more or less deal with women that are more feminine and use relationship capitalism, then something is wrong with you. Because you want to explore your options. Once again, I know there's some decent women here in America. There's some decent women here in America. We're just saying they're hard to find. And the system does not support those good women. Those good women are actually damn shamed into silence. So what in the hell is a man supposed to do? Men have to be very pragmatic and intentional in what they're damn doing. Because if they're not pragmatic and intentional, they're going to keep getting the outcomes that they want. The solutions that we talk about many times, you guys don't want those solutions. You want the solution that benefits you and your selfish needs, not a solution that's going to benefit him and her.
And that young man can be thrown out of school. They can have their career options limited because who's going to want to hire a guy who's been accused of sexual abuse or harassment? And the other thing is people don't realize it, but in our society, for example, a young boy, and I have an example of this in my book, a young boy who's 14 or 15 who has sex with a 34-year-old woman, if she gets pregnant, that boy is liable for child support.
Are you kidding?
I'm serious, and there's never been a case. Michael Higdon is a professor at the University of Tennessee, and he did a paper on this. And
a boy being liable for child support. Think about this, guys. A boy being liable for child support. Now, on the flip side, imagine if a man did the same thing to a young girl. His ass would have been thrown under jail, and rightfully so. But a woman taking advantage of a young boy, her ass should be thrown under jail as well. But we don't want to talk about that because, we say we're equal when it's beneficial to us.
One of the things that the paper said is there's never been a case where a boy at that age has gotten off. If you were 14 or 15 and you have sex with an older woman, even if it's statutory rape, it doesn't matter. You're liable for child support.
Now, I got to interrupt with a question right here. But if it went the other way,
exactly.
If a guy rapes a girl, there's
there'd be an uproar and the man would be put in jail.
Yeah, but the girl, so the girl couldn't possibly be held responsible for. I mean, that's insane.
But that's the thing is people talk about how irresponsible boys are at that age, and then they turn around, they're always so responsible that they know exactly what they're doing, even if they're having sex with a 34-year-old woman, and then she's having his baby. I mean, of course he's responsible, right? Because that 14 or 15-year-old knows exactly what he's doing.
Right.
I just think it's sort of ironic when it comes to men, they're immature until you need to slap their hand or put them in jail or something. I don't really consider myself any type of feminist because the feminist movement, it seems like there has been a lot of power, and I think part of it's political. We have one of the interesting things is I found that about 30% of women in the United States consider themselves feminists, but when you look at the women who vote, it turns out that about 70% of those women consider themselves feminists. So I think a lot of times the laws are driven by, I kind of call it matriarchy by proxy, but men are afraid. Of course, if Barack Obama got up and said something negative towards women, he'd have a firestorm on his hands, just like we saw with Larry Summers, the president of Harvard.
Right.
Got ousted, as you know, because he said something that women didn't like. And so men are afraid they could lose their position. They could lose, their job. And then that's sort of why I wrote the book, is because I want to talk to men about how they need to speak out, because I think men are afraid to come forward or to say anything because we're so used to thinking of women as the victims in our society and that men can't be discriminated against.
Well, how do men handle this? How do men speak out, whether it's at a university? I mean, they'll get themselves in trouble. If it's on the job, they'll get themselves in trouble. If it's in a relationship, they'll get themselves in trouble. And they're taught this. They're taught to fear it.
And listen to what this man said, guys. That's negative reinforcement. That's negative socialization. That stuff causes schema afflictions. Schema means that I've been broken due to the pain of my past, and the affliction is the fear that if I say something, then I'm going to get punished. So basically, men are like, damn hamsters in a hamster wheel. That's constantly running and not going to the damn place. They're constantly in a hamster wheel running. And they can't say nothing. That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. The gospel say that idolatry is like rebellion, and rebellion is to the sin of witchcraft. And so a man can't say anything. That's a form of witchcraft, because he's being controlled. And it happened to me many times, guys. That's why I could never be a college professor, because it's not in my nature to be PC. I'm very respectful and I'm very diplomatic, but I don't like being controlled. I don't like for people thinking they can control me. Nobody can control me. I'm a man. It's not a man on this planet, like I told you, that's better than me. I don't give a damn how many subscribers you got, how much money you got. It means nothing to me, because in the broader context of life, you're not going to take it with you no way when you stand before God. So yeah, you got your one shining moment now, but it doesn't mean anything in the afterlife. If you don't believe me, ask my sister. She experienced it. All that money she had, $500,000 home, Range Rovers, all the money she had. But where's that now? It's going back to the state or whoever she was dealing with. So don't get concerned with things that are temporal. Stand firm on your masculinity. Stand firm on your character as a man. And it's hard because we've been conditioned under cultural Marxism. And it's unfortunate, guys, because men can't be allowed to be themselves. That's why men go other places. Not because they want to go, but they want to feel like men. They want to feel like they can exercise their masculinity. You got a lot of damn neutered men in America. That's why when they get a quality woman that treats them well, they don't know how to act because they're not used to it.
As you well document, so how do they go about it?
Well, I think there are different ways, and I talk in the book about, different ways to deal with it. Certainly, if you have a girlfriend or somebody potentially that you want to marry, I talk about ways in the book to kind of, get to know this person for a longer period of time, sort of get a feeling for how they treat you. I think a lot of men jump into things. They feel if they like a woman or they sort of they get involved, and I think it's very hard for them to pull themselves back and to really put boundaries on women. And it's hard. Men aren't hardwired to. They're kind of hardwired more to protect women, and it's very hard for them to confront a woman and what she's doing. But I think that's a very necessary part of a relationship, is that you have to be forward about what you will and won't tolerate. When you see a woman for the first time do something that's, maybe she makes fun of men, or maybe she tells you you're not going out with your friends, or maybe she starts to put a lot of boundaries on
That
women.
should be a red flag.
Exactly.
Yeah. How are you accepted or not accepted in academia and by your friends? What's your life like having these thoughts and beliefs?
I used to be sort of a big feminist, so my family was driven crazy by those thoughts. Now they just sort of tune me out.
Well, wait a minute. How'd you change?
I think it went so far the other way. I think as I got older, when I was younger, it seemed to me that women had some of these problems, and then I realized as I got older that indeed that the society had changed, that the problems that women used to have in some sense have turned around, and there's like a backlash against men. Also, I think because I've seen so many men in my practice, 20 years ago, I had a practice in New York, and one of the first patients I had was a man who was being beaten by his wife, and I couldn't get any help for him. And I realized at that point that, yes, men had...
Listen to what she said, guys. A man that was being beaten by his wife, but she couldn't get any help for him. Think about that. A man being beaten by his wife, but she couldn't get no help from him. When men are homeless, guess what? They don't have any refuge many times. It always goes to women and children. But we live in a society where we say that, men and women are equal. You see how the standards are switched when they benefit the other party. And that's the things that men can continue to have to go through. Don't have a voice. They're dealing with mental health issues that many times lead to self-deletion because they feel like they don't have a voice. And, most folks won't touch these topics because it's not PC. They can risk their careers. And, I take a risk doing what I'm doing. That's why I tell you guys to support me, because it's risky doing this as a licensed therapist. It's not a lot of masculine men therapists. When I got my master's, even the professor said, you're rare. She said, you're rare. You're 6'5", 6'6", and you're a masculine. She said, most of the therapists are women or they're very feminine men. So you have a gem in what you got, what you have. So make sure you guys respond and respect it. And you guys are doing a good job thus far. Let's get the stream up to 100 people. I need you guys to share this content. I need 5 more people to share this content. I want men to hear this message. I want them to hear the message of Richie Mack. I want them to hear the message of the Ingram experience. El Guapo, A Beautiful Life. Shout out to that good brother. MTR and many brothers. MTR just got canceled over some goofy stuff. Good brother. But see, that's what I'm saying. Anytime men begin to speak up, somebody don't like it, they try to silence you. But you want men to put their damn lives on the line and this fight for women that don't even value them and respect them. We're supposed to give our damn lives and, you know, put our lives on the line just because of some damn community that's destroyed. Make it make sense. And like I said, I'm not against fighting for good quality women, like my wife, or good women that honor and respect me. I'm talking about good women. I'm talking about traditional women. I'm talking about women that have a history of service to men and their cause, but not some random woman that I don't know. She doesn't respect black men. She voted for policies that are against black men. I'm not putting my life on the line for that foolishness.
I think as I got older, when I was younger, it seemed to me that women had some of these problems, and then I realized as I got older that indeed that the society had changed, that the problems that women used to have in some sense have turned around, and there's like a backlash against men. Also, I think because I've seen so many men in my practice, 20 years ago, I had a practice in New York, and one of the first patients I had was a man who was being beaten by his wife, and I couldn't get any help for him. And I realized at that point that, yes, men had it was a very serious problem. And from there, I just became more open to it. But as far as myself, I mean, people don't bother me too much. Most people are I think a lot of times people are surprised, or if I talk to women about the book that I wrote, they think it's like a cute book that a psychologist wrote. That
right.
How do you rope a man in or whatever? But I think most men get it. I don't even have to say anything, but they totally get it. And you see this look of like this in their eyes, sort of like, oh yeah, I get that. And you don't really have to say that much to them.
And you know, that's another thing, domestic violence in this country, and people don't understand. If you say that men get beaten too by their wives or spouses or whatever, or that it's a problem with men on the receiving end, you know.
So tonight, sometime for that $20 super sticker, he said showing some support. I appreciate it, man. That's a deal, right?
That's a deal, right?
No doubt. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir.
Right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
They look at you like you're some kind of nut job, but all you got to do is look at the Justice Department statistics.
Well, it's true, and there's actually been some really good research that's come out, even from the National Institutes of Health and other places, that show that about 50% of the time, women are instigating domestic violence.
Did you guys hear that? About 50% of the time, as I told you guys before on the show, Am I Not a Man, they initiate domestic violence. The men are not initiating. They hit him. They'll punch him. They'll hit him across the head with an iron or a damn iron cast skillet. But, you got some men that say, well, this restrainer, grown women, think they got a right to punch men and hit them in the face. And suppose the woman is a bigger woman and the man is smaller, and she punches him, give him a black eye, and he's supposed to damn take it. Not me. I don't believe in domestic violence, but you better keep your damn hands to yourself. I'll give you one. You might get one good hit, and you're not going to get that. So I don't believe that men should put their hands on women. I don't believe women should put their hands on men. But you hit me if you want to.
And that's a high level. People think like, oh, men don't really get hurt, But what happens is men just don't really report it, and we don't really think of a man.
Right. Men don't report. Not only they not report sexual violence or sexual assaults, because I was sexually harassed one time in the workplace. I just didn't say anything about it because guess what? Who's going to believe it? At 6'5" and dark skinned, they're not going to believe me. I've had women make sexual comments towards me in the workplace, but I just didn't say anything. But that's mental oppression, man. That's mental oppression when men can't have the right to speak out and men can't have the right to get their needs met. And that's why I do what I do.
Man has a black eye. I mean, remember Amy Winehouse? I mean, she had this boyfriend or husband, and you'd always see him in the papers with a black eye that she gave him. We would never accept that. If a woman has a black eye, like we're seeing with this recent case with Nigella Lawson, the I don't know if you're following that, but the cook, the lady who's a chef on TV, there's a bunch of stuff in the papers all about how her husband tried to choke her.
Right, yes, and they got the picture of his hand on her neck in the restaurant or something.
And they're trying to, I've even heard reports about how people want to go after him, they want him arrested, this, that, and the other thing. But they used to show pictures of Amy Winehouse's husband all the time with a big black eye that she'd beaten him and punched him in the eye, and nobody cares because people just don't think that it hurts if it's a guy, but it hurts.
Right, and not only does it hurt psychologically, but sometimes it can hurt physically. And you're right, family values. Men are losing their rights. This isn't about supremacy. This isn't about equality. It's about supremacy. Yes, dear, you're 100% correct. It is about supremacy, and it's about something spiritual. That's why when people talk about change, you can't really address the change until you understand that a large part of it is spiritual warfare. they look at things through the lens of the natural. But until they understand the esoteric, they don't understand that we're dealing with something that's spiritual. It's spiritual warfare. And, I'm not against the brothers that want to see change. I know some might think that I'm against it. I'm not against it. But you got to look at all the competing factors that are stopping us from becoming better. This is a spiritual issue, and it's a sociological issue, sadly. True for War said that, especially in the single mother home, continuation of my comment, no doubt. Mr. GG Zero Down, real estate structure said, look at the amount of battered men shelves compared to battered men. Right, you're right, brother. Nationwide in North America and the United Kingdom. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And shout out again once to family values. Shout out to my man James Turner, kosher. This showing some love. Keep it on, keeping on. And right, brother,
right?
That's
a
deal,
right? That's a deal,
At
right?
some point, I'm proud of you, man.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
If you can't find your wife here, we're going to help you find your wife in another country, brother. I want to see you happy. You're a good brother. You have been so advantageous in supporting this movement, and I really respect you, Mr. Turner, and all the brothers that are listening. Many times building this small army can be very frustrating. And once again, I take a risk doing this, but I feel like I've been commissioned by God to do it. And I'm not doing this because I have no animus towards anybody. I don't, but I'm very passionate about seeing men win. I want to see men win. I want to see men, when they go to the grave, happy with a smile on their face. And they say, you know what, man, I got the woman that I wanted because you work hard. James Turner's a good brother. He's worked very hard to get his accomplishments. And we're going to make sure, brother, you get the best. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure, with God's grace, you get the best woman that you can afford, because that's relationship capitalism 101. So we don't want you paying a high price for something that's not worthy or don't respect you as a man. That's not cool. Maurice speaks that my dad dealt with an abusive woman. Right, many do. Esther Villar received the death threats from the feminist from her book, The Manipulated Man. Right, you see what Lulu Bean is talking about? Because anytime other women try to expose the chicanery of some, very violent women, then they're either called pick means or silence as well. Even women are on the chopping block. The good traditional women are on the chopping block when they speak up and advocate for good men. We're not talking about unproductive men. We're not talking about abusive men. We're not talking about men that go and get women pregnant and leave their family. We're not talking about those men. We know that there are there's some dysfunctional men, and I don't associate it with dusty, dysfunctional men. I don't even respect them. We're talking about good, hardworking brothers like James Turner, like Top Gun, like Maurice Speaks, and a lot of good brothers in this chat that work hard, like Nice sometimes. Good men. They deserve average to above average women because they're good men. But you want these men to get subpar women that don't see them as valuable, women that got, damn near 5 and 6 kids by different men, been had a lot of fun. And she said, I know what my worth is. Well, Walmart know your worth too. Because you men that are working hard don't have to lower yourself to deal with subpar behavior. That's not healthy for you mentally. And the churches are not speaking about it. Many times in the professional world, they're not speaking about it. Men got to walk around dragging their knuckles and just say, I'm just going to go along and get along. I got to just do what my wife said. I got to do what she said. Not me. You can go get my burial plot. I'm not damn doing it. I wish a man or woman would try to force me some damn compliance. I'm not damn doing it. I never have done it. I wish somebody would try to force me some damn compliance. Not going to happen. Not on my clock, it's not going to happen. And I'm one of the kindest people in the world. But don't take my kindness for being weak. I got a lot of fire in me. I'm a Leo. You come at me.
Fire for your mind.
I'm a Leo. I got a lot of fire in me. And I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. And neither should you men. Some of you men have been raised in homes where you never seen masculine authority. You don't even know what it looked like. And you just keep accepting subpar behavior. Shout out to my man Leon too. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother. Cash out. Thank you, Leon. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. We're gonna get this show popping in a minute. But it's time for men to be empowered. You men have inherent worth. You men have inherent value. You men were created in God's image. You men are worthy of love, honor, and respect. You men need women that are going to honor you, respect you, and follow your damn program. If she's not willing to follow your program, if she's not willing to protect you, she does not deserve your time, your services, or your protection as a man. You should not give your time, services, and protection to women that don't honor and respect you as a man. And I stand on that. And I don't care who don't like it. I personally don't care. Men and women should both get outcomes. Men and women should both benefit. They should both. But a man should just give his best away for somebody that don't honor and respect him as a man. That doesn't make any sense, guys. Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense. Shout out on family values. Tim Howard, you're right. I just meant it's a gradual thing that's continuing and happening slowly for sure. You're right. I agree with you 100%. And you're right, James Ingram Turner. If God is for you, who can stand against you? Shout out to my man, Uncle Stu. Uncle Stu, that was an excellent show that you did with Luke Casey last night. And I look forward to you and I doing another stream at some point. But Luke Casey is talking about what I see. So shout out to Uncle Stu for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
But what Luke Casey was talking about, Uncle Stu, is something that Venezuela went through. It's called cultural Marxism or socialism, where men are not allowed to speak, where people are conditioned to be, servants and serfs. And this stuff is very insidious. But once again, a lot of it is spiritual warfare. That's why when people want to come up with solutions, until you address the spiritual part of it, you're just going to be like a dog chasing his tail. Because this thing has been going on in America for a long time. And that's why I say it's like stage 4 cancer. It's going to take a lot of work. Some say it got to burn down in order for it to get better. That's what I think. Do I think a remnant can be protected? Yeah. But the broader society, it's too much damage done in my opinion. But, I'm not against people that want to, waste their time trying to change it. But I think it's a mute cause. But that's just my opinion. We're going to have a conversation in a minute. But shout out once again to Richie Mack, El Guapo, the Ingram Experience, MTR, and also the Kosher Clinician. Because what we're trying to do is use our channels and platforms for men to get the best outcomes necessary. What we're doing is rare. What I'm doing is rare because there are not licensed clinical therapists from one of the best schools in the country that's doing this because it's not PC. But guess what, guys? I've never been PC. I'm a traditional, heteronormative black man that respect and value men and male rights. I'm a masculinist, a black male that believe in supporting other men. Dr. T.S. Johnson's a good brother. He's been through a lot of stress from some of his colleagues, just speaking up and advocating for men. But, they don't really care about y'all. They just want you guys to be, like he said, concubines. They want you to be concubines in the bedroom and serfs when they come down to them just giving your protection, your rights, and your freedoms away. And I got a problem with that. Nice sometimes said that let's regain back our respect, authority, and power with protection, resources, and money. Women only control sex, yes, but we control the dating market. You're 100% correct. These women are broke and entitled. And I told you guys once before, there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male, and understanding female psychology is one of them. If a man that's a 1 got with a woman that was a 1, and that woman wanted to get married, but that woman that's a 1 didn't meet that man's standards, guess what? That woman would never get married. Some of you guys are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9s, and 10s, and whatever. But you're dealing with women that are beneath you. Because she got Raekwon the Man in her DMs telling her that she's special and a queen. And so she got an ego. She thinks she's entitled to your love and your attention. But I said, damn that, she got to work for it. If she don't work for it, she don't get it. Because in behavior modification, both parties benefit. If she don't work for your love and affection, she don't get your love and affection. If she don't work for your protection, she does not get your protection. If she does not coming in wanting to serve your mission as a man, she does not get the ring. She's not worthy of it because you are the prize catcher. We're going to start doing therapy sessions. We're going to do mirror therapy. And I want you guys to look in the mirror, damn it, every day and say, I am the prize catcher. I have value. I have worth. I demand what I want in a woman. If you men will start demanding what you want, women are going to do 2 or 3 damn things. They're going to either step the game up or they're going to be alone. It's literally that simple. But the question remains, are you men willing to do it? And so maybe you need to come see me at coachclinician@gmail.com to deal with those cognitive distortions that you guys have. Because some of you have cognitive distortions. You don't think that you deserve anything better. And you just accept subpar behavior. So shout out once again to Uncle Stu. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So we're going to have a conversation, guys. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about a show that I did with Richie Mack. Shout out to my homie Richie Mack. I love me some Richie Mack and ZoomtoThailand. Richie is a very talented content creator. I've never in my life seen a guy that's that damn good with editing, man. He is a phenomenal man. And I happen to be on his show, and he's a good brother, man. I respect him highly. So we're going to listen to Richie Mack in this show that I was on with him, me and the Ingram Experience, and the importance of male empowerment, guys. So let's listen.
Guy here, he has a special place in my heart, man, because this dude, I don't even know how to put it into words, man. It's like everything about this guy, like I'm looking for something that I don't like so I can try to hate, but it's really hard to hate on a brother that gives back to the community, teaches people how to tie ties in the hood. You know what I mean? Just everything about him just spews like positivity and love. And that's what we're about on ZoomtoThailand, man. It's about love, supporting each other, helping each other, coming together. And to be honest, this dude is like way up here, heading towards 400,000 subscribers. He didn't have to come down here with me and do this. So, you know, I'm just like so grateful to have this guy. Man, I'm going to let you guys come up later on and ask him questions. So you can talk to the GOAT yourself. And you know, like I gave y'all a video of why I call this man the GOAT. It's not because he did a video for me. It's because of what he represents and who he is and what he stands for. And that's what makes him the GOAT. So check this out, y'all, man. I ain't going to make him wait too much longer, man. You know, y'all might call him MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews, but I call him the GOAT. Let's give it up for...
Hey! Good form. Richie Mack, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. Hey, you know it's time to get active.
Good form. I love it. I love it. Wait, hold on. It's my turn. Zoom tribe. Come on. Shout out to the Zoom tribe that's down into the building. But first and foremost, I am so happy to be here, brother. I'm so happy to be here. So thank you so much for the invite. The video that you did on me, I told you behind the scenes, but I sent it to my pops. Man, we had an hour conversation regarding the impact, regarding the shift, regarding the change. And he was really happy to see it. So thank you, my brother, from one man to another. Thank you.
Man, it's my pleasure, man. I got to give you your flowers, bro. But, you know, I don't want to talk too much about me. I want to talk about you because, first of all, you know this is your fault, right? You know?
Uh-oh. What'd I do?
How did we get here? Like, how did we get here? Well, you want to tell people how we got here?
Listen.
How did we get to this place?
I want to say it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I get some restless nights, you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about what I can do more, you know, how I can be more creative, how I could have done better in a conversation. And I woke up in the morning, I looked at my Instagram where people send me things to react to. And someone said, listen, you got to check this out.
And you guys know that MTR he lost sponsorship recently because of some radical nut job that had him canceled. And this brother's been through a lot, man. But that's why male empowerment is so vital. And that's why male empowerment needs to be included, in my opinion, to increase the mental wellness of a man.
So I checked it out, and I'm looking at the video like, oh no, this is a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And I think actually the reason why it was serendipity is because I've been to Thailand, right? So not only can I look at you and your experience, but this is also coming from someone who went there, but from a tourist perspective. But the life that you were leading, I can verify from the things that I saw from an outside of the box perspective. So I don't know. So how we got here, you know, we talk about it all the time on the channel. It's all it is grind. But sometimes it's preparation plus opportunity, but then also a little bit of luck in there as well. But it's, are you ready for the times when the gold rush happens, right? Proverbially speaking, are you prepared for that particular opportunity? So here we are.
Here we are. So we got to clear the air up now, because some of my friends are like, man, you know, dude, you had to pay him to do that, man. That review was so good. I know you paid him. Have we ever met MTR?
It's our first time having a conversation over video chat. We've never met in person. To be honest with you, I get a lot of people that hit me up like, yo, can you react? Can react? Never in the history of ever have I taken money to react to something on my channel. And I do that because I don't want to be swayed regarding the particular things that I'm saying. I want it to be authentic to me. I want it to be authentic to the heart. So everything that was in that reaction video was just how I felt in a particular situation. But honestly, I think that the reaction off of it is because so many people identified with what was happening in a positive and a valuable and a beneficial sense, and they juxtapose that or compare that to some of their experiences in the West.
Okay, that completely makes sense. But the way you went at it, man, and it's just the way you, because I study you, you know what I mean? I look at your reviews, and the way you do it, you handle it in such a classy way where, like, even with the women, I mean, you're leading like the red pill manosphere. I'm learning all these terminologies, but you're like on the forefront of that. But you never like go hard and disrespect women or anything like that. I mean, you do it with such class, and you know that's what I love about you, is the fact that how you handle it. Because me, I'm a short dude, so I'm aggressive. I got all this, I got a lot to prove. You know what I mean? I'm looking at you standing next to K Sam. I'm like, okay, MTR got some height on him too. You know what I mean? So, you know, I would handle things different, but the way you do it and break things down is so dope to me. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like all your fans, we got people.
You know, MTR is a very intelligent brother. He got an MBA. I don't know what school he went to, but he's a very intelligent brother. Richie Mack guys used to be a film writer. He was a filmmaker also in LA. He was in Hollywood. So if you see his editing credits or his editing style, you will see that he has a background and his skill set is tied to Hollywood. He's been in several movies, and I think he's also been part of video game production. You know, Richie Mack is a very talented guy, man. I actually had the opportunity for him and my man Al Grease to come together in the show that I had recently. And, you know, we're trying to empower men. We're men coming together, man, setting aside our egos for a common cause. Because the greatest thing that can subvert male movements is ego. Ego, you know, arrogance, hubris, and men not understand the common good. As men, we don't agree on all things. But at the end of the day, if I can help another man, then my living is not in vain.
Coming in now, we got almost 400 people in the building with MTR.
Uh-oh.
Let me see what we got.
Zoom tribe. I see y'all.
Man,
it's actually pretty funny that, like, you know, when you do videos on the internet for so long, I think that when you see all of the comments regarding incel and all of that shit, like, people start to say, like, okay, well, he's talking like that because.
Shout out to my man, too. Shout out to Contrarian Expatriate. No doubt, brother. Appreciate that.
Right? That's a deal, right?
I appreciate that, Contrarian Expatriate.
That's a bet, right? That's a
Thank
deal,
you, sir.
right? That's a
Thank
deal,
you, sir.
Right?
He said, thanks for looking out for the masculine heterosexual men who want better for themselves. Here's my tuition, man. And I appreciate it, Contrarian Expatriate, brother. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that.
You know, he's not charismatic. He can't get women. Or am I talking like this because there's a goddamn issue? Or that. Because, you know, being able, and that's the thing. That's why I loved being out in Vegas to finally get up out of, you know, the confines of where I do reactions at in order to just take it to the streets and just let's give the people some live interaction, right? As to show that people with these types of thoughts and our talking points, we're not in a small little corner of the internet, but we come at it from a logical perspective, based off of data, based off of truths, right? And everything else kind of within that. So yeah. And I also want to clear this up as well. A lot of people say, oh, he's a red pill channel. He's a red pill channel. Like, do understand that, like, I'm familiar. So I know what red pill is. And there was components of the stages of the channel where I'd say, like, yeah, you know, we just don't do red pill content. But I think that I've transcended or moved on beyond that. And I'd say, like, most of the things that come on the channel are just from my thoughts, from my mind. But I would say a lot of it is underpinned by some of the teachings that happen within the space.
Yeah, because I'm still trying to get the definition of it. I don't know. Am I red pill? I'm definitely not blue pill. I know that. But I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in and all of this stuff. Because, you know, I love everybody. So I want to be cool with everybody. But I'm definitely going to stand my ground with what I believe in.
Right.
I have some pretty strong beliefs in certain things. Let me get to some of these super chats. East Coast Kev, one of our regulars, says, super chat to get the party started. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Man, I'm so happy to have my man with me. You don't understand, man. This is like a big treat for me. This is literally my first.
The pieces of information that comes out of here, it's real. It's not fake. It's not just for internet, right? This is real. It's real to, you know, walk around and watch the reaction to Kevin Samuels, right? And these young brothers walking up and just dapping him up, right? And sisters too, dapping him up, right? Like, and, you know, even for myself, it's weird for me, you know what I'm saying? Because he's in Atlanta, so I think he sees it a lot more. But, you know, but to be out in Vegas and people are like, yo, MTR, like it's a weird experience, but it's real. People are being influenced and they're being impacted, right? So why not take it out to the streets? Plus, I think a lot of people want to see an interaction between me and Kevin Samuels as well. And let me say this side note as well, because I don't know how many people actually have met him, known him in person, and then, you know, had a platform to kind of speak about him. The brother's brilliant.
Man,
the brother's brilliant. His mind operates at a different level than, and I've known a lot of smart people throughout my life, and I think it's easy to take it for granted because you're watching him on his platform. But think about it. Right now, when he live streams, I saw him recently. He had a 3-camera setup. He has a soundboard, so he's manipulating the cameras. He's manipulating the soundboards, right? And he's having a conversation with people at the same time to the extent of thousands of people watching. So it is entertaining enough that thousands of people continue to watch at the same goddamn time. That in itself is, it's super hard. I mean, you could probably be a testament to, it's not easy live streaming. It's not easy doing the recording stuff, but to do all that at the same time is difficult in and of itself. But yeah, the brother's brilliant. So I'm not going to give information to exactly what our conversations were out of respect, but there's many dope things coming.
I believe it. And he doesn't break a sweat. You know what I mean? That's what I'll call him the Moses of the manosphere. Like he's leading us out of the slavery and bondage we were in and taking us to a whole nother level. And he does it. You know, I think part of his brilliance is the fact that he was raised around women. So he knows how women think. You know what I mean? So he can get down with them on their level and know how to disarm and do all the things he needs to do to get just the way your set is set up.
Yeah. So kind of, I would say like 2 major things. The first thing is that before I utilize this camera to record, I laid into that, and it's still a competitive advantage to a degree, you know, even going into 2022.
I agree. I mean, that was my strategy as well. It was like, you know, everybody has a YouTube channel. Everybody's coming out. There's the beer virus going on. Everybody's starting channels. Everybody's at home. And I'm out here in Thailand. So I'm like you. I don't know what's going on. They say, you know, I have a bit of an influence back home, but I don't know because I'm in Thailand. It's just Tuesday. Nobody knows who the hell I am out here. But what I noticed about, you know, what you do, and like you said, I do the same thing. It's like I had to break through the algorithm to get to America because I was like, I wasn't busting the grape out here for like the first couple months, and I wasn't taking it seriously. And then I did a course with Lead, and he explained to me, you know, you got to keep putting out. You got to keep putting out content. You have to keep representing, and that's what I did. And things caught on. And then by the time you got a hold of it, I was ready to go. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna get down. And then I got a couple little things that inspired me, and like people like you. And it was like, okay, now I'm about to really show off. You know, and when I say show off, I don't mean in a bad way. I mean just really just put it out there, because being from Hollywood, everything is formatted in a certain way. You got to have a boss tell you what you can and can't do and all that. But now I get to do exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it. If I want to do the intro in the middle of the thing, I'll do it. Whatever I want to do, whatever I'm feeling. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And I'm about to come with the next question for you is...
Wait. Can I ask her? Can I ask her real quick? Did your lady see the video that I did?
Of course.
Okay. So what does she say? Like, I'm curious. Is she just like, wait a minute, the women don't treat you guys like that? And on the West, like, I don't know if you've ever answered this question, but like, I gotta know.
Well, you know, to be honest, man, she doesn't get it. Like that's not her lane. She just does what she does. So you know, like, okay, I'm cooking for him. That's what we do. Like, you know, they don't. she's kind of, I don't know if I can get her. Noodle. Her name is Elle, but I call her Noodle, my Thai Noodle. But you know what I mean? But this whole thing,
gotta have a good pet name.
He doesn't understand what's.
And listen to what he's saying, guys. She doesn't understand that. Women in foreign countries don't understand that a woman not cooking for her husband or showing her husband love and support. They don't get it because they think it's awkward. You know, cooking a man a meal, that's just normal. That's normal stuff. It's normal to cook your man a meal, to support him or do something kind for him. And so women from other countries, they don't get it. But, you know, men in America are treated so bad or treated badly that when they get that love and support that they deserve, many times it's often met with ill repute or some trying to shame them. But, you know, it's unfortunate, guys. But you can see the joy in Richie Mac's face when he had that conversation with his girlfriend. We're going to keep listening to it whole tight. And then we're going to get to the point where I was actually part of the show as well.
What's going on? Like, she's just kind of like here. Like, I want to, like, once I get 100,000, come say hi to MTR. She's shy. Come here, say hi.
She's shy. Come on.
Yeah. And get in there and make me some grits. No, I'm kidding. Come here,
Listen, Richie, when I come down there, though, does Elle have sister? Hey, Elle, how are you?
Hello.
How are you? Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, Elle, when I come down there, do you happen to have sisters per chance? She's like, what's per chance?
And guys, look at the smile on Richie Mac's face, man. Look at the smile on his face. Richie looks so happy. Charlotte, you're right, James. Look at the smile on his face. Look how feminine that woman is, guys. Look at it. Look how kind she is. Look how relaxed she is. She cooks for Richie. It's just normal, you know. She don't think it's a slave. She's a slave cooking a man a meal. You know, there's something that other women and other cultures do. They value men and they value masculinity. They understand that there's a price to pay to get a good man. They don't see cooking for their man as slavery. They see this part of their love language to make their man happy and healthy so that he can go out there and make that money. And you can tell by Richie how Richie's taking care of his woman. Richie looks very happy, and look how feminine this woman is. And that's what men are saying they want. And James Turner, to the other single men, you guys are going to get it. You just got to keep working hard.
I don't have.
she don't have, but I'm going to take care of MT Guard. He's going to be all right. He ain't got nothing to worry about. But yeah, man, but this is my baby. Like and it's just all right. It's all real. Like she doesn't really get it. She just kind of like does whatever. Like now I can't believe she's even saying hi. But I told her I had to go today. So, you know what I mean? So she's like, you know, gonna say hi to the goat. You dig? No, to tell him you dig.
Look at that youthfulness, guys. Look how youthful she is, man. Look how youthful that woman is. How kind she is. Look at that. See, guys, that's what you guys need, the ones that are single men. And some of you married men need that too, because y'all are in hellified relationships, but hopefully you got good marriages. But that's what men need in order to become better men. That helps men become productive when they got a feminine, cooperative woman. It's good for the mind. El Guapo called it a feminine amplifier. I call it a feminine oscillation. And that's what men need when it comes down to getting quality women. But look at the joy that's on Richie's face. And some of you men are anticipating that level of joy as well. But you got to go do so much to get to it. You don't know when your time is going to come. You don't know when your ship is going to come. And I do these shows, guys, so you guys can be empowered. I need you guys to share this content. We should have at least 100 people in this stream. It's only down to about 40, I believe. But I want to get the stream up, guys, because we're going to have a conversation before I head to the office. But I'm doing this, guys, because I want to see men empowered. I want to see you guys happy. Keep listening.
Good form. That was a fantastic you did.
Yes. Bill, can you say, let's get active?
Come on.
Long time.
Just say active. You can't say active? It's time to get active. You don't know what it means. That's what MTR says.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it means we about to get down. We about to do our thing. That's what MTR says. You know, we getting active. Can you say active? Yeah, let's say it to him. Say active. Yeah,
active. Yeah. Great form. Great form, Al.
Yeah, man. So that's my baby. So yeah, man. Thank you so much for saying hello. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, baby. Bye. All right. So
and look how productive Richie is, guys. When you got a good feminine woman that got you, through hell or high water, guess what? A man can be very productive. He can be at his best. Look how happy Richie is. Because his woman got his 6, and you men need women that's going to protect your 6. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you guys get it. Richie Mack is a good brother. Him and I are often in collaboration. Some good brothers that I'm behind the scene talking with. And they're looking for wives, but they're saying they can't find a wife here. They say it's hard to find. So do I tell these men to keep looking until they find it, going through garbage to get to quality women? Or, do they just focus on themselves and get the money up? And if they can't find a wife here, they can find it in another country. Some men have high standards. So I'm not going to tell a man to settle, because guess what? The women are not settling. But if a man can't find his wife here, then a man should do what's best for him. That's what I believe in. And that's what you should believe in. I believe women should do the same thing, by the way.
So now we got to get back to MTR. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to go to the super chats and let you think of the answer, because I think everybody wants to know this, man, because, people like to know, like, the inside stuff.
Sure.
So we all want to know, because we know the numbers you're hitting is crazy.
Yeah.
We know that the Google Analytics is crazy.
Yeah.
So we want to know, what did you do with your first big Google check? Not your first check, but the first big one when you was like, oh, I'm never going back to corporate America. That's what I want to know. I'm going to read off these super chats. I'll read your super chats, bro.
On a pedestal with the illogical conundrums.
Seems like he's part of the family. If MTR signed off on him, he's good with me. So let's go on to the kosher clinician. Now let me tell you, MTR, about the kosher clinician. He says, shout out to Zoom, shout out to the Zoom tribe. Awareness and male determination. MTR and Richie. The kosher clinician, MTR, man, he's great, man. He's from North Carolina. He's proud about it. He lets everybody know that he represents all the way to the fullest. I give it to him for Michael Jordan. That's all I really can say for NC, because I've never been there, but I give it up. But he's always about positivity and awareness, man. I don't know if you know about him, but you need to know about the kosher clinician, man.
That's
what's up. Person, and when he talks, he sounds like Jesse Jackson a little bit. He got like a throwback kind of vibe. He's tall like you, he's chocolate like you, and he's asking me. He says, "Man, I heard, like, even though he's married, I'm not saying he's coming to pick up women, but he was asking me when I did an interview with him about how, I heard they love the dark brothers in Thailand, and I'm like, they love brothers, period, in Thailand. Even the short brothers, like, I'm winning." Yeah, you see with it. So imagine what you can do. So yeah. So,
I saw it when I was there. I was like, is this real, or is it just because I'm in a tourist place? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, let me tell you something, bro. Let me just real quick. I've never gone somewhere and felt like a king more than in Thailand. And I'm not G'ing this shit. Like, I'm not G'ing this shit. It was weird. And me and my boys were just like, why are they like, what?
And listen to what Richie Mack said. Listen to what MTR said. He said he never felt like a king until he traveled abroad. I had a young man, guys, come talk with me in private. And this young man said that he said he didn't feel like a man when he's here in America. He doesn't feel masculine. He even told me in private that, he shed a tear when he got back on the plane. And so when we do these shows, you got men that are trying to get their needs met, and they can't get their needs met. They're going abroad. And I can't get mad at that. It would be selfish of me to tell men to continue to sift through mediocrity to get the quality women. Because sadly, many modern women have been compromised through liberal policies. And, what Rich is doing, what MTR is doing, what the Ingram Experience is doing, what Beautiful Lives is doing. Richard was married to a black woman. He gave black women the right to first refusal. El Guapo was married to a black woman. The Ingram Experience, his wife is black. And current girlfriend is black. So it's not that we love black women, but we want feminine, cooperative women, not masculine, modern, and women that seek to subvert masculine authority. That's what men are saying. It's literally that simple. So I don't know what the big fuss is, but men just want to be happy. And, I'm not against women traveling abroad. If they feel like they can't find quality men in America, go abroad. Find your husband. But like I said, men in other countries are very traditional. And so if you're willing and ready to be under a traditional man, then, hey, go for it.
Why is this how they're choosing to communicate? We just assume, it was just because of the, being in a tourist area. But hearing that you are in Pattaya, which still has tourist sections, but my guess is that you're not living in a tourist section. You're probably much more in the city component. Is that? But if you still get that treatment out there, it's like, boom, that's the link right there. Oh, what we were seeing was not necessarily a black swan event. You know, it wasn't unique in nature.
Right. It's a little bit of both. I mean, it's tourism, but at the same time, the people are friendly. You know what I mean? It's very, very easy to find a mate in Thailand, man. It really is. The real issue, the challenge is finding the right mate, because they have us outnumbered out here. For every 10 men to come to Thailand, they send 20 more women from the other smaller villages. You know what I mean?
You guys hear that to the men that are single. If you feel like you have not found your uncovered gem here in America, there are women abroad that are traditional. They don't count it robbery to serve you an egg sandwich or cook you some grits and chicken. They don't count it robbery, they count it an honor, because that's just part of their culture. And so we have a cultural issue here in America. We have a lot of negative socialization on both ends. Some of our women, not all, a percentage of our women have been socialized not to see men as being valuable. And many of our men have been socialized to think that they don't have value. And, you know, I shouted out Richie Mack because I believe that male empowerment is the key to mental health. That's why I'm doing this show. I wish I had 100 folks on the stream, but it's frustrating because these shows are so time consuming. But mental wellness and mental health is the new male empowerment. And that's how men become empowered, by changing their mind. And like Mr. Palmer said, you got to change the law of your mind. Keep listening.
I mean, so it's, language barriers sometimes can be an issue. Yeah. But if you got a translator and they're trying and you're trying, it can easily work, man. It's something that one MT said. You know what I mean? He said to me.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, he just said it's impossible to fail in Thailand, and that's he summed it all up. You know what I mean? It's literally impossible to fail in Thailand. If you fail finding a woman in Thailand,
yeah, there's something wrong with you, brother. I saw it. Yeah. You know what's hilarious? You just reminded me that when we were down there, we came across a group that, because there's a language barrier. So I was using my Google Translate, and you could put it on that one mode where it could just hear things and then translate it in real time, right? So there was 3.
And shout out to El Guapo of Beautiful Lies. Me and Guap been in these games in these streets for a moment. Guap has blown up recently. He surpassed me and a lot of people. He's been doing an excellent job. But El Guapo is a good brother. He's a very genuine brother, you know. Guapo, once he got to the top, didn't change. He didn't act brand new. He kept supporting me. There was a time I was bigger than him. But, I didn't care. I balled him up many times, and he supported me, and I supported him. So he is an awesome brother, and that's what it's about, guys. Men coming together, sharing their commonality, sharing their pain, and supporting one another, setting aside their insecurities, setting aside their egos for the common cause. Because there's room and there's space for all men to grow if you know what your worth is. YouTube is a huge platform, and you don't have to go by the way of the manosphere. You can go do other different avenues. And while I affiliate with the manosphere, I'm not necessarily part of it. But I do affiliate with it because some of the points of the manosphere is salient to getting men the needs that they want. So shout out to the OG, El Guapo of Beautiful Lies. He's a good brother, and I respect him highly. I respect him and Richie Mack highly, perhaps because they got that Aryan swag, part of the Fire Tribe. But I respect that brother a lot.
Them 3 of us, and we just threw down the Google Translator, and then that's how we communicated amongst the group.
Nice. And you were in Phuket, though, right?
I was in Phuket, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, and that's all you went. You had to stop at Bangkok first, and then went to Phuket, or you went straight to Phuket?
Yeah. So here was the trip. Here was the plan. We were gonna go to Bangkok for like 2 days or something like that. We were gonna go to Phuket for like 3 days, 4 days or something like that, and then we were gonna go to Singapore. We were gonna go to Singapore and then back to Bangkok. When we got to Phuket, we never left. We canceled the flight. We canceled the hotels. We were like, what's the point of leaving? What is this place? This magical paradise of things that you've never seen before, in feelings that you've never felt before. What is this shit? I was so confused, brother. But then also I met we went on a like one of those, travel boat tours. We went like to these caves, like these bat caves, and we went to James Bond Island in Phuket. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like there's a movie a James Bond movie, like I think back in the 70s, and they went to this island and it got named after that because of this weird rock formation. If you Google James Bond Island, you'll see the rock formation. And on this yacht trip, we met a young woman from Singapore. She was like, "Why y'all going to Singapore?" And she was from Singapore. She was like, "Did you know that you get jailed for spitting on the ground or spitting gum on the ground in Singapore?" I was like, "Word? We don't need to go there then." So
you know what's funny? I want to try Singapore, but first of all, it's 10 times more expensive. I love this guy, man. It's like El Guapo, man. I'm trying to keep up with him with the super chats because he be dropping them. You know what I mean? Like he dropping like he in the strip club. Guap, I can't keep up with you, bro. I'm trying. I'm trying.
That's love right there.
Yeah, it is, man. But he's a class act, man.
Class act.
MTR, you got to check him out if you haven't. I know he would love to have you on this channel as well. He's a good guy. I don't know what MTR's time is like. I can't be lending him out, but if he's to go anywhere, Kosher Clinician and Beautiful Lives are great channels, man. I love these guys. They support me. We support them. And the other thing, MTR, what I say on my channel is like all of us together, we're stronger together.
Right.
So all of us coming together, good people coming together, not just anybody, quality people doing quality work, supporting each other, not just doing something for the bag, but doing something to support each other, man, for the greater cause is something that I'm really like gunning for. But speaking of for the bag, we asked you a question and we didn't get the answer yet.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do? Now I know you kind of private, so I'm gonna push a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you might not answer, but I'm still. We both left-handed. You have
retention rate on a particular video from a wedge between you.
Oh, I mean, you or is it over?
Well, crossing.
Mr. Nick's fighter.
Pop to the top of my head from a reaction.
Hold tight.
Jesus Christ. Right. So
shout out to you for that. Now we got the Russian Nigerian. What you gonna say? Was you gonna say something?
Hold tight, guys.
Jeez. Why he trying to dox a thug? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do with that? You know what I mean? All
right, so
looking at content like that, and they say to themselves, "You know what? I'm not mad because Richie's doing that. I'm inspired because Richie's doing that." And there was that in the comments.
So
the information's over there.
It was him.
You know what I'm saying? You can go down to the comments and you can look at it.
Richie
yeah,
Mack,
bro. I admit to you, all my life, because I'm from England, right? I've been
Mm-hmm.
dating black English women all my life. But when I put that trip to Germany and
I love Germany.
Yeah, and I went on a date with a black German woman. She was so feminine, MTR. She cooked for me. She rubbed my shoulders. She cooked food for me. She rubbed my toes. I was like, damn, this can't be real. This can't be real, brothers. My toes.
I love Germany. Dog, I've been to Berlin twice.
Yeah.
I've been to Munich. Bro, Berlin. So the last time I went to Berlin was like 2018 or something.
Shout out to my man, Brother Ishmael. Brother Ishmael, shout out to him. We're going to drop a link at some point.
Right? That's a deal, right?
Shout out to Brother Ishmael.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Shout out to him. Brother Ishmael said that piece of the Kosher Clinician and others in this space remind black men that we do have options. Yes, sir, we do. Make 2022 the year you get your passport and take that first trip. Africa and the Gulf are my spots to hit up, right? And to the single men that are looking for good wives, if you feel like you have not found her here, if you feel like the quality is not to your level, you feel like you put in the work, then exercise your options. Take your talents where you're celebrated instead of being tolerated. And because when men start exercising their options, the good women are going to step up and get husbands. And the bad women are going to be left behind. So men, you got to exercise your options. So shout out to Brother Ishmael.
Like that, 2019, like right around that time. And I went where it was Caribbean Festival to Berlin.
Oh, brother,
and
that's
I'm
where
like,
the girls are. Yeah, that's where the girls are, man. Yes.
What type of what is this? Look at all of these beautiful, and they come from all over Germany.
And
just
MTR,
like,
and they want brothers there as well. They're after brothers specifically. If you're a brother with dreads, tall, short, dark skin, light skin, brown skin, just be a brother there. But please don't wear G-Unit sneakers. Don't wear Echo coats. No gold chain. No gold teeth. Come dressed correct like a man, and they'll come after you, brothers. They'll come after you.
Talk to them.
Talk to them. That's fact. Yeah. International passport. We got to go to the next person, man. Thank you so much. We got
one more thing, Richie.
We got my other brother. Wait. Man, international passport. Appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. All right, here we go. Now we got to bring up the Ingram experience and the Kosher Clinician, because those are two people that come as a group. These two brothers here. Coach of Collision in the house.
No doubt. Shout out to Hurricane Ingram. His eyes going 1,000 miles per hour. Ingram damn eyes be going 1,000 miles per hour. And Ingram talks about something guys call relationship capitalism. And that basically says that you should exercise your option to get the best return on your investment. And that's what all people should do, men or women. So this is about male empowerment. When men are empowered, then their mental health is intact. And I want to see men empowered, guys. That's why I do what I do. I wish we had 100 folks on this stream, but I know people are working. But I put a lot of time in this show, guys. I put a lot of time in these shows. And please share this show with as many men as you can before we end it at some point. But thank you guys for everything that you're doing to the 40 or 50 that are watching. So I'm going to drop some fire for your mind. About the purification. And it's so good that black men can come together as a licensed therapist in the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel state. I want to send a special shout out to my man, MTR. I just lost my sister to ovarian cancer, man. And your story resonated with me, and I had to be careful because I don't want to get teared up. But, that I did a show about you about an existentialist crisis. It's something that we all go through when we reach the precipice, when we think our life is about to end. So shout out to you, man, all the good work you're doing, man. You're a good brother, man. Richard Mack is one of the most genuine brothers besides our Guapo that I know. He's an excellent brother. Him, Guapo, the lead attorney, good brothers, man. And, man, hey, I'm glad you are recovering. I'm glad you're living your life on your own terms. And as they say in the church, oh, how good it is for the brethren to dwell together in unity. This is what I call a universal catharsis, when men get together to share their story, to share their pain, and to give men options. Because I tell men, MTR, Richard Mack, and the Ingram experience, men are the prize catchers. Men have the power to change the trajectory in their lives if they set standards that are synonymous to helping them get the outcomes they want. So when men realize they have the power to change the trajectory about relationships because they are the prize catchers, then they will set the template for how women treat them. And if they can't find the uncovered gem here in America, I tell them to get on that on the wings of an eagle and go find a wife in a country where she's feminine and she's been raised under patriarchal norms. So this is an awesome conversation, brother.
Dope. Absolutely. Shout out, Coach of Collision.
Shout out,
you see why I love him? You see why I love him?
Damn, he came through like a goddamn Bob. But I'm sorry to hear about your sister, my brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
So, but it's very important because I think that both brothers and sisters, is speaking about cancer, within it's one of the leading killers, and a lot of it is being able to self-diagnose, self-find. And if you don't find it, you're at the reactionary efforts of your clinician, right? So like, that's why I tell young brothers, check your balls, put your fingers on it, go around it. If you feel anything a little bit awkward, go to the doctor immediately. Make sure that you have insurance so that you can do that. Get yourself in that situation, right? So you can do that. So I appreciate you sharing that, because it's really important. It's really important that we talk about this.
It's very important. And also the mental health wellness is important. I'm a licensed therapist out of North Carolina.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I'm a therapist. Yeah, I am a therapist. I believe in facilitating outcomes that can help men get the best outcomes they want. Many times, many men in these spaces don't know about the right to self-determination. And as a licensed therapist, we talk about that in the clinical world. The right to self-determination, to live your life on your own terms without barriers, and to get the outcomes that you want when you set the template for what you want in the relationship. So that's why these conversations are so important, man. And, what I do, I take a risk because there's not too many licensed therapists that are talking about this.
That are black.
That are black, but at the same time, that are masculine therapists that seek to empower black men. It's rare. But, my brother, the Ingram experience, and you guys hear that are black, but also happen to be for heterosexual men that want traditional families and relationships. It's rare. That's why I tell you guys to support this platform, to share the content, because what you got is rare, and I hope you guys appreciate it. So MTR is a good brother, man. Richie Mack and yourself, we need to have these conversations because, as I said earlier, men have the power to change the trajectory in relationships if they set the standard. If they fortify the inner sanctum that's in their mind, then they can get the outcomes that they want. So, like I said, this conversation is very good, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate that as well, because I after I went through everything, I did get a therapist to help me get through the
the tumultuous change that had happened within my life, not only from, you know, a physicality perspective, but then also just from a mental health perspective as well. It was really my first time doing that, and the benefits were tremendous within that. I know mental health is something that we don't really talk about like that to that degree, but also within that, there's like no Black male therapist in the goddamn country. You guys are so rare, right? So and it's so beneficial and it's so needed. So like the more that we talk about this, maybe the more that we can create those that will want to even do it in the first place because of how important that it actually is. But we still live on this ideal that, you know, we can't talk about things. But the thing is like amongst men, amongst value-added men, right? That say, listen, brother, I know what you're going through, and this is how I can coach you to do it better. It is so incredibly important that we have the spaces to be able to do that.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And as I said, this is synonymous to group therapy. And some of the tenets of group therapy is universality, having a catharsis, sharing information. Those are some of the major tenets of group therapy. And just like the Ingram experience, you know, I have a background in law enforcement. I worked in law enforcement for a while, and I taught school. I was a special ed teacher. So I'm a trifecta. I've done a little bit of everything. But it's an honor to inspire men and to have brothers like the Ingram experience and Richie Mack and yourself. We're coming together, putting aside the hate, utilizing the tools that God has given us, and doing everything in our power to reduce the existentialist crisis that so many men are having. Once they go through those stages of grief, they can cause them to be impacted in a negative way because men need to be heard, men are important, and men are the prize catchers. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Ingram experience, you want to? Oh, can you please, Gail? Can you please drop the Coach of Clinicians channel as well as the Ingram experience, please? So they're down there. They're probably already on top of it. I know how they are. And get the likes up, y'all. I don't understand what it means till MTR explained it to me, but I can't even see if we got likes or not. So I don't see it on my end. But please, y'all, help us out. Help us out. We got almost 500 people here. Can we get the likes to whatever it needs to be, whatever MTR thinks it needs to be? It's just nothing but just applying a little bit of pressure to the button. It don't cost you nothing, you know. It's kind of like a super chat, right? It's kind of like you're hitting the like button like a free super chat. So appreciate that. Everything we do. Ingram experience, how you doing, sir?
Hey, look, man, salute to both of you brothers. Hope you guys can hear me well, man.
Yeah, we hear you.
This is real male empowerment, man. I think I got about 4 or 5 spaces I can go to right now because, you know, obviously some of these spaces you come to, you have to fight off the hyena simps. They don't want to see Black men happy, living well, doing well. I'm telling you, man, the haters, not that I even care about them, but I mean, I'm happy I retired last year in August. So male empowerment is what I'm all about. MTR, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you overcame, you know, I'm happy to see that. But male empowerment is what it's all about for me. And I think for every man that's in the chat, every man that's on the panel, the simps try to make it about something else that it's not. But every man just wants to live a peaceful life. It's all about brothers being happy, living peaceful. You only have one life to live, and no one takes care of you like you. We're not altruists. We're not sacrificial animals to the community. We deserve some happiness and we deserve some respect. A lot of hardworking brothers I see in this space, and I'm happy that we're coming together because there's not a lot of masculine spaces where masculine men can have legitimate conversation. Because to be honest with you, brothers, I get tired of editing and crap, man. That stuff is boring. I like to talk to men. I like to talk to dudes, look them in the eye. You know, I don't like sitting in front of a computer all day long editing, man. I like to talk to you brothers because
what you trying to say? What you trying to say?
Man, that gets old, man. But see, the problem is that because you guys have a masculine message and you come from a male empowerment perspective, especially in the community and all the other places, they don't respect that. Black men talking about empowerment, talking about living their best life.
And Ingram is right. Ingram is 100% right. They don't expect it and you don't see it. That's why what you guys got is rare. But hopefully we can get the stream up. It's dropping a little bit, guys. I don't know. I know some of you guys at work. I got to get to the office in a minute. So I'm going to stop the stream for now. And we're going to talk and have a conversation. James Turner, man, you funny, man. But we're going to have a conversation, guys, and we talk about the importance of male empowerment. We're going to talk about, you know, how can empowerment in practice impact mental and physical health? You guys saw it with Richie Mack and his girlfriend Noodles. Has the Black male patriarchy been in power in America over the last couple of years? Some would say no. Do you guys feel that, men have been empowered? Do you feel that the current male infrastructure have been empowered in the last 30 to 50 years? I would say 50 years ago, yes. But in the last 20 years, I don't think men are getting honored and respected. You guys know, and I know here recently, and here in these current times and trends, that they're trying to take, some women are trying to take Father's Day from men. And they're saying that Father's Day is their day as well. And that's a level of distress and toxicity, guys, that we have in our culture, man. They don't value fathers anymore. The question is, are modern men mentally neutered? We talked about that, and I think many are mentally neutered. There's been a demasculation for black men in the communities for a while. And that's why empowerment is so important, because most guys feel like they're in the spirit of servitude. So we're going to drop the link in a minute, but Richie actually did a show recently with Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White actually got married in Thailand. And we might view that in a minute as well. But I'm going to drop the link, guys, and as I look at Michael Jai White, and call in for these next 30 minutes. And what do you think about is mental health the new male empowerment? What do you guys think about that? So call in, guys. Let's have a conversation. I know some of you guys are working. But let's call in and have a conversation as we continue to process in this show. Because that was a good show with Richie, my man, the Ingram Experience, MTR. It was a good show. We had a good time collaborating and talking. And like I said, guys, it's time for men to be empowered. When men are empowered, they become the better versions of themselves. So in the meantime, guys, the link is dropped. But we're going to look at this show that Richard did recently, guys. He was talking about Michael Jai White. He got a show tonight. Go check out Zoom to Thailand. And Michael Jai White actually got married. So
yeah,
the link is dropped.
Light it in here, man.
Guys, feel free to come up
gas fumes, man.
and have a conversation.
Hey, man, this is Tommy Chong, and you're watching Zoom to Thailand with Richie Mack, the travel OG.
I'm the travel OG, and I traded in my Hollywood lifestyle for the sexy beaches of Pattaya, Thailand. We're bringing you exclusive interviews, showing you what the golf courses are like, the caddies are like, what the homies like. Zoom to Thailand with your man, Richie Mack, the travel OG. Well, all right, y'all. My subscribers and Patreons have been asking for this, so I'm going to start showing you once a week what it's looking like out here. I'm going to take you guys from one end of the beach all the way to Walking Street. I'm going to explain to you what everything is and where everything is, so when you get here, you'll already have an idea and be familiar with your...
Hold tight. So Richard just did a show with Michael Jai White, guys. And Missouri Brother, that was a show that I did with Richie Mack, and I was on this show a few days ago. Guapo popped in, a couple of brothers popped in, and we were just more or less having a conversation. Hold tight. But the link has been dropped, guys. What do you think about male empowerment? Do you believe that mental health is the new male empowerment? Because when men are empowered, they feel better about themselves. When men are empowered, they get the outcomes that they want. When men are empowered, they're not struggling with mediocrity, guys. So this is important. This is important for men. It's important for men to live their lives out on their own terms. It's very important. So hold tight. The link has been dropped, guys. If you want to come in and talk about it for a few minutes, we can talk about it. And we can talk about the importance of male empowerment and mental health, because if you can get your mind right, you can change the trajectory of your life. All right, so the link has been dropped while I'm sharing this clip that Richie did today with Michael Jai White. And Michael Jai
White. For those of you who don't know,
actually got married in Thailand. So let's have a conversation at some point. And you're right, Lulu Bean. They do need to pay him for bringing attention to their country. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct there.
Michael Jai, who I call Sensei, has been putting it down in the martial arts game since the 80s. He's the real deal. Respected by just about everybody in the martial arts world, but a few who don't, he's offered any of them and all of them to catch these hands and feet. To this day. I mean, not only does he look exactly the same, he's been whooping ass since Janet Jackson was in control and NWA was straight out of Compton. I've known Mike personally since the 90s, and he's never changed. Always down to earth, always a good brother, never afraid to speak his mind, and never back down from any phase. A no-nonsense guy with a weird sense of humor. I met Mike through my roommate, actor Billy Sly Williams, when Mike wasn't even an actor, let alone a superstar. Mike Jai got mad at me and Billy because we used to leave our door unlocked because we thought we were in a good neighborhood. One day, Mike came to our spot, walked right in and rearranged all of our furniture just to teach us a lesson. And guess what? What the damn thing neither one of us can do about it.
The strongest punch the body can generate is a reverse punch that we call in karate, or the straight right or straight left, depending on if you're orthodox or southpaw in boxing. All right, some may argue about the hook, but the hook, even though it's a very effective punch and it's very strong because it rattles the jaw, making the head shake and, producing knockouts, it's nowhere near the force that can be derived from the core of our body. That reverse punch, turning your body, looks like this. The strike is at the end of my shoulder and hip turn, okay? Generated from the floor to my hips to the target, this way. Okay? And faster motion looks like this. You might be able to hear it.
Michael Jai White is absolutely legit. Michael Jai White broke the chain on the heavy bag at Legends Gym in Hollywood. He asked Eddie Bravo asked him to demonstrate the way he does a side kick. This dude does a side kick, a hopping side kick, slams it into the bag goes ka-tink against the chain, and the chain snaps.
Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. Hold tight. I apologize for that. This thing is crazy, man. Little technical issues, man. James Turner, can you hear me, brother? Can you hear me? I apologize for that, guys.
I can hear you.
Some technical issues. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, what's your take on this conversation, Mr. Turner? Why male empowerment? Is male empowerment important to the mental health of a man? Why is male empowerment so important? You have been doing a stupendous job. We're trying to evolve as a man, James Turner, and your goal and dream at some point is to get your wife. Now, when we have these conversations, Mr. Turner, many think that you have a disdain, or men have a disdain for American or black women. That's not the case. What do you think is the greatest indictment on Western women, in your opinion, brother?
I think first of all is their attitude. I think that they're really not knowing how to act, how to relate to men. They don't even know what men want. They don't know what men need, and nor do they at this point. Many of, not all, many of them don't even care what men need. As far as male empowerment being the new way of therapy, I think that it's more of an addition to men therapy. I think that us as a people, men and women, we need to go in, and we definitely need therapy, and we need to figure out our stuff, and we need to, get our head, screwed on straight before we even talk about male empowerment. Because if we try to do, move on with male empowerment without doing the mental therapy, we won't realize the power that we have. We won't wield it in the correct way, and as a result, we're going to fail at doing it. And so I think that the mental therapy portion can't be substituted for the male empowerment. I think that I see it as two entirely different things. I think one comes after the other. When you know who you are, when you understand what you're dealing with, and you're dealing with those, you're doing the work, and you're becoming, and you're aware of what you're doing and how you're moving. So then when those particular situations that are triggers or things that remind you of your past, or whatever the case may be, when those come up again, then you're able to recognize it, curb it, or do something about it. Change your mind, as you said. Changing your mind was very, very key when you said that. But I don't want to jump off the subject. But once you do that, you do the work. Now you're talking about true male empowerment. Now, with our heads screwed on straight, with our minds right, now we can talk about true empowerment and know and recognize when it comes, or when we have it, and to be able to move accordingly.
Right. Turner, I would say, Mr. Turner, that some will argue that the emasculation of the American man, but not only the American man, the black man, has reduced the community progress and the progress of society and community. What's your take on that?
Oh, sure. Because without the man, there really isn't a family. So many ladies think that you can have generational wealth without the presence of the man. You can't do that, because without the man, you have no generation. You have to have that family unit first, which consists of, God first. I'm gonna put him first always, the man and the woman, or the husband and the wife. That's the correct way and an order way to develop into a community, and that into a nation. Otherwise, we're going to fail. If we're not recognized as men or husbands or fathers or brothers, whatever the case may be, the women got to know and understand that without us, they die. And they die alone, and more alone than what they think, because the rest of the world is not going to see and embrace what they have to say in relation to them, them being as a separate unit of what we know as the family and the community. It's not going to happen.
No, I agree, man. And you've been living in America for a while. You're well accomplished. You're doing very well financially. You got a background in the military. You're highly educated, Michigan State. in mathematics. You're very intelligent. You've lost weight because you're trying to get your wife. What's been some of your biggest hurdles to finding your wife? And we're gonna finish looking at this clip of Michael Jai White, and I'm gonna end the stream in a few minutes. And but what's been some of your biggest hurdles? You say you feel like your time is gonna run out. I want you to explain what you mean by that.
Well, first, I'm dropping the weight because it's good for me as an individual, regardless of if I get married again or not. I'm gonna feel good about me and be able to move around as I'm supposed to be able to. I'm sorry. Say your question one more time.
I was saying, what do you think has been the biggest indictment that you haven't been able to find your wife in America? And then you say you feel like you're running out of time.
Yeah. The biggest indictment to not being able to find a wife is, really being aware now of the right questions to ask. Are you close to your mother and or your father? Are you involved in their lives? What did they teach you coming up in relation to what a man does, what a husband does, and what a wife does? How many books have you read on marriage? A lot of women will tell you, I don't believe in reading books about marriage. Well, I don't understand how you are planning to be a wife. If you're not reading books and understanding, and I'm not saying how to navigate your marriage, their particular marriage, but some of the nuances, the things that you might face, because there's some things that are going to be common in a lot of marriages, and you got to know how to negotiate that. A lot of people talk about love as being the basis of a good marriage or whatever it case may be, and I definitely don't agree with that. Love is a very, very important ingredient. Yes.
Right.
But no, it's not. And I believe that, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the basis. Look, because at the end of the day, you have to understand how to live with somebody day to day. Everybody looks at the glitz and the glamour, and you got the wedding gifts, and you got the dress and the big ring and all this other thing. But how do you coexist with somebody day to day and choose them every day? And that's the biggest problem. Women not wanting to know what it truly takes to be married in relationship. And what I mean by relationship is, you get to a marriage or any relationship, you are there to serve. And if you're not there to serve, then I think you ought not get into it.
Right.
You have to be ready to say, hey, okay, I'm okay. And according to God's word, you're supposed to be one whole person before you even dream of getting married.
Right.
So now that I'm okay, I have the things that I need. I know who I am. I'm in God's presence. I have a positive self-image, so forth and so on. Now, what can I give to this man? Or what can I give to this woman that will help him or her be a better person overall?
Right.
And then in helping them be a better person, it then fulfills my needs, because now with them understanding who they are better, they're going to reciprocate. The man to the woman first, or the husband to the wife first, and then the wife gets it in return. They do it in return. So with that. Now, as far as running out of time, man, Coach, I've always struggled with that. And I don't know why, but something tells me, it creeps up in the back of my mind that you're running out of time. And I don't like that feeling. I fight it every day. I really do. It's like there are parts of me that are not doing the things that I'm called to do fast enough.
Right.
And and I have to constantly remind myself that I cannot think like that. I remember a while ago, Kosher, and I won't keep you long because I got to get to a meeting. But I was struggling with that same thing, and my daughter was at the time was younger, and I started really dealing with that. And what I started doing was pouring into her quicker than what she could absorb and understand and deal with. And when I started pouring into her, she screamed out so loud. She said, "Daddy, I can't take it anymore." And so, what did that teach me? You can't, even though you might feel like you're running out of time, you can't rush time. You can't rush when when things are supposed to happen. You can't rush when someone is able to absorb something or understand something or ready to embrace something. You can't, you can't run without knowing how to walk first.
Right.
And so with that, I have to, remind myself of that every day. James, you're okay. Number one. Number two, you don't know when your last day is going to be here. And that's just a fact.
Right.
So, and when I think about it that way, then it shuts off that little voice in my head saying, "James, you run out of time, bro. You run out of time. You ain't getting, and with that, you're not getting no younger." And I know I'm not getting no younger. I know that. But when the time comes, I'm the one that's want to be like, when it's time for me to roll up out of here, I want to know for a fact that I did exactly what I was supposed to be doing or on the way to doing that.
Right.
And then I'm good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then I'd be like, hey, my kids are okay, so forth and so on. I took care of my business. I influenced the people that I'm supposed to influence. It ain't just about your immediate family. It's about it's about the other people that you're around, that you're influencing. Same what you're doing, Kosha. You doing a doggone thing. You really are. And so with that, when that time comes, everybody's got to cross. I've told my son that. But when it's time, I want to know that, hey, James, you did everything that you were supposed to be doing, and you did it to the best of your ability. And now it's time to say goodnight. But I don't want that in the back of my head every day that I wake up saying, "James, I'm running out of time." I want it when it's time. I want to meet that statement or answer that question when it's time,
right,
and not before. So yeah.
Well, like I said, man, you're well on your way, man. Last question, man, and I got to get ready to go too in a minute.
Yeah.
Can you hear me good? Some people say my volume's too low. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Why is there an attack on male empowerment in your opinion? Why is there an attack on male empowerment in your opinion?
Because the system knows how important that being a man, being a father, being a husband is in its entirety. They know how important we are. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stifle, and I'm talking about, more of the black community than anything right now.
Right.
They know how important we are. They know how powerful we are. And they're trying to stop that because for a few reasons. They don't want to see us in power because, I'm going to say the other Americans are so power hungry. That's number one. And number two, I believe that when it comes to being in power, the other Americans are thinking that we're going to do to them what they did to us. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily true.
Right.
I think that the more, black male empowerment happens, the better off the world is overall. And we've proven that time and time again.
Right.
We built the pyramids. We built the homes. We built the skyscrapers. We've done so much. We've enhanced technology. We've made it so that everybody else is able to be comfortable. Me as a black male, I went into, like I said, I went into battle 4 different times and 4 different conflicts, and now to come back to this, and someone tell me that you're not a man, you don't matter, you're insignificant. Who the hell do you think you are? So forth and so on. No, I'm not going for that.
No, and you shouldn't go for it. And,
No.
I got to run in a minute, man. You guys go check out Richie Mack. He did a show with Michael Jai White. Actually, Michael Jai White is going to be on tonight on the show. I might pop in. But it's not just an attack, Mr. Turner, by the broader power base. Many times our women, a percentage of our women, not the traditional women, attack male empowerment. Lulu Bing, why is that? What's your take on that?
Hi, Coach. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly.
I'm having issues on my side. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you perfect. Yes, ma'am.
It's so good to hear from you and to speak to you. It's been a while.
No doubt.
I was watching you on a show, Coach. I think I'm not sure. I think you were on the Lepif network with somebody called The Sage.
Yes, ma'am.
And it made me. There was a young man there was a young man there that there was an issue with. His name. His name was Sway in the Morning or something to that effect.
Right.
And in as much as women need men, what I'm seeing is that men need men.
Right.
That is a big problem where you are speaking in terms of the knowledge that you are trying to put across and the topics that you are, that you're trying to make people understand. There's a lot of young men who need to know this information now before they make the wrong decisions, to take advantage of the wisdom, and they can't because they don't know how to listen to elders. They don't have a concept of hierarchy.
Right.
So for me, that's also what's missing, is that men need other men. Men need to see examples of confident men who have come into themselves and who have created their own power.
Right.
I may not agree with Kevin Samuels, but in terms of what he does for black men and advocating for other black men, it's not just talking about black men. It goes beyond talking on behalf of them, but it also is about empowering them to be men, because a lot of men, like I say, don't know how to be men. I hope I made sense.
No, you do make sense. They don't know how to be men, and male empowerment is something that's not spearheaded here in America. Many times it's minimized, and I do it because as a therapist, I know that male empowerment is the key to good mental health, as long as it's fair and kosher. But I think American men have been so defeated into mediocrity. They don't know what their worth is. I was telling Mr. Turner, he's a very educated man, top 1%, 3%, 5% earners. He would be highly heralded in your country. But we look over good men like him, and they just think that he should get, subpar women. And I told him, if he can't find his wife here in America, your country is available. If not in your country, Thailand or wherever. I just want men to get the best bang for their buck. I want them to get the best. And many times during these shows, it comes with a lot of angst, sweet Lulu Bean. Salaciousness sells, talking about male empowerment and mental health. It really is not, it's not one of those, big talking points. Our people are more interested in, entertainment and, goofy stuff. And so you got to feed the algorithm. It can be very disheartening when you put a lot of time in these shows. I put a lot of time behind the scenes preparing for these shows, doing editing. And, when you get less than a stellar turnout, it can be discouraging at times because it's a lot of work. If you're not a content creator, it's a lot of work doing content. but people don't get it, you know, and so that's why a lot of men don't take the role of male empowerment in YouTube, because it's a very narrow road, and many times you don't get a lot of support, and you feel like you're going upstream many times. So, you know, black male empowerment, it's a noble cause, but it's a very lonely, and many times it doesn't really benefit you monetarily based on the time that you put in. But I'm dedicated to mixing it up. I'm gonna probably have to mix it up, but like I said, you know, I love seeing brothers empowered, and good brothers like Richard Mack, MTR, and others, you know, makes it worth the cause, and they're guapo, beautiful lives. So,
Hey,
so I'm
Coach.
glad. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Really quick, I'd like to say that, you know, you know, and I say this often, at least I try to anyway, that is, you know, the platform may not necessarily be where you want it, but, and you may be, you know, traveling up the rough side of the road, but we, as black men, we're built for this. I'm understanding even better now that it's not going to be easy, and it's not supposed to be easy. Otherwise, everybody be doing it. But since ain't nobody else doing it, now you got to do it. Now I got to do it. Now Miss Little Beam got to do it. Top Gun, so forth and so on. We all got to do it. You know, one of the biggest things that we have to continue to remember is how we leave this world, you know, and who are we influencing and how we're doing it. Everything that we say, everything that we do is so ultra important. Yes, of course, enjoy life. But the people that I encounter, I make sure that everything I say to them does nothing but empower them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though like some people walk up on me and, you know, they might want to buck up or whatever. You know, I don't have that problem much, but when I do, I know how to get back at them. But then turn the conversation around and say, "Look, bro, look, sis, whatever. Look, this is who you are. This is what you're doing. Hold your head up. Keep on pushing. The tribe is getting stronger, but the tribe, in your case, Kosha, they have to be laser focused." And they have to be the kind of tribe that, without a shadow of a doubt, you know for a fact not going nowhere. Not because they're not just following you, but because they understand the work that you are doing.
Right.
And I get it. And I do not mind under no circumstances to continue to pour back into what you're trying to do and to continue to contribute. I got no problem because you helped me a lot more that I could ever help you, and that's just a fact.
Man. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I appreciate it. I just, you know, when you think about, you know, there are white therapists, and you know, you think about, I can't think of his name, Dr. Jordan Peterson. You know, their community really support mental health. You know, they have big turnouts. They have millions of people that are subscribed to their channels, and you know, getting a licensed therapist in this space as a black man, I don't think people realize how rare it is. But a masculine black therapist, not this no kumbaya therapist. Well, I'm talking about a man that's putting his license on the line, putting his name on the line to advocate for black men. That's rare. And I just want people to take that in consideration, understand they're getting a treat, because I really want to see brothers do well. I want them to be happy. I want good women to be protected. And I don't want men giving their best to mediocrity. I want men to get their best. I'm a good brother like you. I think you deserve the best. And I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting that God will bless you with your wife at some point. If you can't find her here, Thailand, Brazil, South Africa, or wherever you feel like you need to go, I'm rooting for you. Some don't believe that you should be happy. They think you should just accept anything for the sake of community expedience, but I don't believe that. I think you've been waiting a long time. I think you've been looking a long time. And some might say, well, you might be the issue. Well, I don't necessarily know about that. I just think it's the culture. And it appears to be getting worse, in my opinion. And so my job is for men to get power so they can feel like they are empowered. When men have the power to get power, then they can become their best. You saw what Dr. Helen Smith said. And she wrote this, she did this back in 2018. And when you present the evidence, folks many times minimize it or don't want to hear it. But like I said, man, it's an uphill battle, man. I'm very grateful for what you do, Sweet Lulu Bean. You guys have been here with me since I started. And it can be very daunting at times because, like I said, this stuff is very time consuming. It's very time consuming. You guys
And remember, it's also very new as well. The manosphere hasn't been around for that long.
Right,
so
right.
You're still growing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you know, like I said, I affiliate with the manosphere. I'm not necessarily the part of it, but I do affiliate with it, and I agree with some of the things they stand for. But my mission is the empowerment of all men mentally, but especially I have a heart to see black men do well. Because as Dr. Helen Smith said, you heard it, she said that many times men are silent. They're not expected to speak up. And that's manipulation and that's abuse. And men got to feel like they have the opportunity to share their story, to share their pain, and to be open. So, but guys, I got to get to the office. Sweet Lulu Bean, I love you, dear. You're a good woman. I'm praying for you and your family and your husband. And I'm praying that at some point that we can broker together to help these young men that are single. If they feel like they can't find their wives, you might know some people that can help them get wives. James Turner is one of them, so I'm praying for him as well.
Yeah, Lulu Bean, hook me up.
I love you too, Kosha, I really do. And what you're doing as well, opening the minds of men, showing American men their worth, and being a figurehead, like I say, being a man that other men can listen to, is also what is needed to empower other men. Mm-hmm. And you're a hard example to follow. No doubt. And I'm glad that you're of the quality that you are.
Well, I appreciate it, Darren. I appreciate your love and support. Your husband has a gem. You are a gem that's covered. And I'm praying for you and your husband many years of success and blessings in y'all's relationship. Guys, I got to go. I got to get to the office. Turner, I love you, brother. Sweet Little Bean, I love you too, guys. Bro. And Turner, hit the like button, man. I got a good show coming up this week, man. Trying to get Carl Reed and Mitchell Jones from Commission. If you know anything about music back in the past, Commission was one of the greatest contemporary gospel groups of all time. So
now, Kosha, before I let you go.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, man. I got to go.
Now, about your upcoming show. You bringing on singers, right? I just want to make sure that. Anyway, you know where I'm going with this.
Well, I already talked to the brothers. They want to hear me sing as the bass baritone, as the backup, man.
Oh boy, okay.
So I'm gonna drop some lines.
All right.
Let me go, man. I gotta go, man. Y'all be good, brother. All right. Take care.
All right, bro. All right, Sweet Little Bean.
All right, guys, we're about to sign off. This has been another good show. Go check out ZoomtoThailand. Richie Mack is an awesome brother, man. And guys,
remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, fake games, staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I, my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. No. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. No. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on B, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm in the Yankee fitted. Like, whoa, bags under my eyes, and you know, won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, fake game, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need bad energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter 지금부터 시작이야 한턱에 money calls 오지게 리듬이야 한턱에 money meant the moves I've been killing it now 아직 랩이 미쳐버린 범인 아니니까 하더라봐 한 미래로 돌아가 한 doing it cause I'm flying up 비교나 더 알아 아직까지 못하잖아 켜보지만 나의 실력이 no visa 뉴욕에서 한국까지 everybody raving visa I'm balling out cause I'm a globetrotter Yeah 나처럼 잘 나가는 래퍼 불러 Yeah 나 쇼미 나가다가 everybody staring I don't need to play with rockets 나의 빈줄래 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter Trotter 나 계속 올라간다 I know all about it body body 소리 너무 많이 친데 빨리 들어가래 How we sound it 자리 빨리 비켜 내가 온다니까 받아하지 못한 난 실려왔다니까 너 계속 여기 맴돌아 와나 많은 두바이 I'm a globetrotter 이 신발에도 절대 멈추진 않아 You know I gotta go 내 시간 넌 잡아 집중 focus all you know is the guala Boy you slacking people talking 만만하지 ain't no action 만만하게 보였던 사람들 다 subtracting globetrotting 시작도 안 돼서 지금부터 앞으로 You know I'm only going up yeah You could call me filthy, KID 해서 I hit a 마지 92 broken 9 third eye 열지 기본 I just keep on cause I'm curveball kanji I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차나가 신장 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 We just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나